everything that matters. The latest news, traffic, weather, and sports on Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
At 9:01, it's 56 degrees, cloudy, scattered showers today, a high of 58. Rain becoming more likely tonight, a low of 52. Heavy rain possible tomorrow. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Adam Roberts. As U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken meets with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in Israel today, more than 2 million civilians in Gaza are caught in the crossfire of Israeli airstrikes as the country's total siege of the area continues. ABC's James Longman in Tel Aviv.
Gaza is under total siege. Nothing is going in. No food, no fuel, no water. But Israel is building up its military force.
The more than 2 million Palestinians who live there, desperate to find safety. Around 340,000 of them sheltering in UN facilities across Gaza, as the Biden administration says they're discussing plans with Israel and Egypt to find a way to get humanitarian aid in and civilians out.
As that humanitarian aid work continues, the question of what the U.S. will do in response to Hamas's attack on Israel remains. U.S. Representative Mike Gallagher telling Wisconsin's Afternoon News not much will be done until a new Speaker of the House has been chosen.
But I don't think people fully understand the extent to which the House is paralyzed without Speaker. There's nothing we can do until we elect a Speaker. And so until we do that, we're really hamstrung.
Steve Scalise of Louisiana is the front runner for the position. A homicide investigation underway after the malnourished and decomposing remains of a 12-year-old were discovered in Milwaukee near 38th and Elmhurst on the city's north side earlier this week. Officials believe 12-year-old Jakari Robinson may have been dead for days. The Milwaukee County Medical Examiner says the timing of his disappearance could go as far back as Labor Day. Milwaukee police have still made no arrest in connection to Jakari's death, but have ruled it suspicious. Parents in Manitowoc are calling on the school district superintendent to resign. A petition to remove Jim File from his position has amassed over 600 signatures from parents upset that File removed a free lunch program from Manitowoc schools.
He should resign or be terminated. Let's go 4 to 6 weeks without a superintendent. It can't go worse than it is already.
To come here and say you're teaching parents a lesson? You're not teaching anybody anything.
But File telling NBC 26 in Green Bay he has no plans to relinquish his position.
Some of my most vocal critics have become my strongest supporters because in the end it always came down to they finally recognized that it's always been about the kids.
File saying all principals in the district have the authority to waive lunch fees for any student they feel needs financial assistance. And the bumpy road through inflation continuing on Thursday. Although inflation has eased in many areas of the country last month, it remains stubborn in others. ABC's Brian Clark.
The bumpy road through inflation continued Thursday as consumer prices climbed a little more than expected in September. They were up 0.4% from August. The year-to-year increase held at 3.7%. Core prices, which exclude food and energy, were up by 4.1% from the year before. That's the smallest increase in 2 years. On the whole, though, prices are still going up faster than the Fed's 2% inflation target, but the nation's central bank has indicated it's not likely to announce another rate hike this month. Brian Clark, ABC News.
Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Early modest gains for the major indices negated now as we look towards 9 o'clock. The Dow Jones Industrial Average down 119 points to 33,686. The S&P 500 has dropped 9 points to 4,367. The Nasdaq still with some modest gains, though much smaller than earlier this morning, up just 4 points to 13,664. It's time for your investment and retirement review from a fee-only fiduciary. Go to annexwealth.com and click the Get Started button now. Sports, traffic, and weather coming up next. Citing Unlimited WTMJ News Time 9:05.
Commercial and personal insurance continues to get more expensive. Here's Jeff Salazinski, VP of Insurance Operations at R&R Insurance.
Hi, Vince. Today's commercial and personal insurance markets are as complex as ever. There are two huge factors locally impacting business insurance and home and auto insurance. Multiple years of destructive weather events have destroyed insurance company capital, requiring them to aggressively raise rates. Local insurance agencies and brokers are selling their businesses to private equity or the large publicly traded brokers. Client relationships and service models are changing, and not for the better. These factors are critical to the success of your business.
So, Jeff, what's the solution?
Sharing market insights, the stability of 48 years of local ownership, and laying out strategic options for your business or personal insurance is what R&R Insurance does best. At R&R Insurance, we know business and personal insurance.
That's Jeff from R&R Insurance. Thanks for the great info, Jeff.
When traveling at 20 miles per hour, the average stopping distance is about 40 feet.
That stopping power is calculated in both thinking and braking distance.
And assuming you've got the thinking and braking part down, the only thing left is good tires.
Just Google Richlands to schedule an appointment at any of our 5 convenient locations.
And rest assured, we'll put you in the right tire no matter what sort of vehicle you drive.
Plus, every tire purchase that we install automatically comes with our free flat tire protection plan.
5 conveniently located facilities, all AAA approved.
And all staffed by ASE certified technicians ready to install your tires.
So Google Richlands.
Or go to richlands.com.
And remember, to be safe, buckle up, and hey, always make sure you have good tread on your tires. I'm Brett Matchke with Richlands, your
due for tire service.
Since 1964, we've changed your tires and so much more. Richlands Tire and Service, such a refreshing change. Richlands.
Time for a WTMJ sports update.
The Milwaukee Bucks will be a sight to see on Sunday afternoon. Head coach Adrian Griffin and GM John Horst joined NBA on ESPN to lay out the team's plan for the debut of Giannis and Damian Lillard.
Count on Sunday. It's the next time that we want to see them out there in live competitive play. So it's an exciting time for us, but, it's this process, and we're just taking it step by step.
Bryce Harper hit 2 home runs, and the Philadelphia Phillies go on for the 10-2 Game 3 win over the Atlanta Braves to take the 2-1 series lead. The Diamondbacks are also moving on. After a 3-game sweep of the LA Dodgers, they go on for the 4-2 win, and the Astros take care of the Minnesota Twins by a final of 3-2. They'll face off with the Texas Rangers in the ALCS. And Week 6 of the NFL season kicks off tonight with a matchup of the Denver Broncos visiting the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm Brandon Snide, WTMJ Sports.
Taking a look at your roads, your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time-saver traffic. We have a ramp closure on 41 northbound on the off-ramp to Good Hope Road, just reported into the traffic center. Be mindful if you're heading north on 41. The other direction from Highway Q to the zoo running a bit slow right now, 24 minutes on that drive. We're seeing a bit of volume picking up just south of Silver Spring and stretching all the way down towards Burleigh. And then, of course, the construction zone on 43 north and southbound running slow right now. Brown Deer Road to downtown Milwaukee going to take you 20 minutes right now. That's an extra 9, about 15-minute drive in the other direction.
Traffic is sponsored by Smart Spaces. Adapt to the modern workplace. SmartSpacesWI.com.
How can Smart Spaces transform your business?
Creating technology, great culture, spaces that people really want to come to, attract talent, and keep that talent.
SmartSpacesWI.com.
Your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Cloudy, scattered showers. Today, a high of 58 degrees. Those showers becoming more likely overnight tonight. Lows into the low 50s. 58 the high again on Friday, but the story will be moderate to heavy rain throughout the day. Some areas could see up to 3 inches possible, according to TMJ4 meteorologist Brendan Johnson. The other story will be the wind as well. Gusts around 30 miles per hour heading into the weekend. 57 on Saturday with rain chances. Lakeside rain possible Sunday, high of 55. Slight chance for rain on Monday, a high of 56 degrees. Right now in Madison, it's 50. In Green Bay, it's 46. Waukesha's at 52. And in Milwaukee, cloudy skies and 56 degrees. I'm Adam Roberts, citing Unlimited WTMJ News Time 9:10.
It's WTMJ Now. News, opinions, Wisconsin. Everything you need to know in the Badger State and beyond. Come give us your thoughts on the Old National Bank talk and text line at 855-616-1620. Old National Bank. Get old. Here's your hosts, Steve Scaffidi and Sandy Max.
And it's just me, Steve, and all of you. Thanks for taking the time to tune in on this Thursday. This week's flying by. Thursday edition, WTMJ Now. News, opinion in Wisconsin and everywhere else, because as you know, and as we know, people listening in all 50 states and other countries. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Thanks for taking the time. All right, I'm getting right to it. Republicans in the House of Representatives trying to figure out what to do. What am I talking about? there's a battle to replace Kevin McCarthy as Speaker. Now, yesterday, in the nomination process, so they make their pitches, and the two leading candidates, Steve Scalise, representative from Louisiana, Jim Jordan from Ohio, make their cases to their members, Republican members of the House. Secret ballots, which is actually the way it's usually done. Jordan loses to Scalise, 113-99. Why does that number matter, 113-99? Because to be Speaker of the House, you need 217. So neither of the two are anywhere close to that. So that's the news from yesterday. So now, being a Speaker designate, which is what Steve Scalise is, having won that secret ballot, now has to make the case in front of the assembled members of the House. That process apparently will start around noon our time today. If Scalise becomes Speaker, which is highly unlikely at this moment, he'll vacate his role as Majority Leader, and then other names will pursue that, including Byron Reynolds from, I believe, Florida, Oklahoma Representative Kevin Hern, Minnesota Representative Tom Emmer, a bunch of other people. So here's the interesting thing about all of this. Republicans don't have the Senate, don't have the White House. All they have is the House, again, very slim majority. I think it's 217 to 212. And Democrats, as we know, they've done it consistently, vote as a solid united bloc. There's some conversation about Democrats supporting a Republican moderate. I don't see that happening because essentially then Republicans are conceding the House to the Democrats, and they've got nothing. Why does this matter? Well, if you listen to Mike Gallagher on Wisconsin's Afternoon News yesterday with John, they can't do anything. Not a darn thing about, a resolution of support for Israel. That'd be a good start. Or, as we all know, since we went through this battle a couple weeks ago, the continuing resolution that expires on, I believe, November 17th, day before gun deer season in Wisconsin, if that matters to you. That has to be sorted out. Funding the government, kind of important. Funding our efforts to aid Israel, also kind of important. So I thought about this in a couple ways, and I don't typically do this, but I thought I'd do it this way today. Two questions for Republicans. I apologize for using the H word. Mom, if you're listening, I apologize. I'll put $1 in my swear jar. Republicans, are you confident that your party knows what the hell they're doing? I'm not that confident as a Republican. And I'm going to play some Trump audio after the break because I know he doesn't drink, but I was watching some audio and video of Trump last night in a rally. I think it was Palm Beach, Florida. He looks like a drunken, whatever, fill in the blank. I know he doesn't drink, but boy, not sharp. So for Democrats out there, and I know you a lot listen, if Trump is the Republican nominee, and he's the clear favorite right now, surprisingly, shockingly, stupidly in my opinion, is the election a slam dunk for Democrats? Are you like, go ahead, nominate Trump. We got this. Or is there concern about your president's, although I think he has scored a victory with his unconditional, strong support of Israel, including lots of praise from the citizens of Israel and the leadership in Israel. So he has had a good week. Those are my questions. Republicans, are you confident your party knows what the hell they're doing? I'm not so sure. They can't get out of their own way to pick a speaker, which should be the easiest of the processes. The real work is what you decide on policy and the work of a representative in the House. And two, for Dems, are you cheering for a Trump victory in the primaries, which haven't started yet? Because it's certainly all signs pointing to that. And what that all looks like. Politics 101. From the House perspective, from the political reality that is America going into 2024. That's our start of the show today. You can always join 855-616-1620. I see somebody's already fired up on the phone line. Let's talk about it for the next half hour. Then coming up at 9:35, it's my show poll today. You've got to weigh in on this. So I talked about this the other day. some student groups across the country have come out very, very strongly and declaratively against the state of Israel, country of Israel. And they put out press releases. Well, there's a great piece in Forbes magazine. Really rich guys who own companies saying, you know what, I'd like to know who's on that list of students that is so anti-Israel. Because you know what? I'm not going to hire them. The danger of social media. Do companies, employers, future employers have a right to know what you think about things like Israel, Gaza, vaccines? That's all coming up on today's show, and I'm just getting started. Join us, 855-616-1620. You're listening, of course, WTMJ Now.
More of WTMJ Now after this. There's no better green and gold insider than from the man who wore the green and gold himself, Bart Tauscher.
The thing you hear all through training camp, if you're an undrafted free agent or a late pick, is, hey, you're trying out for our team, but you're also putting film up there for the other 31.
Bart Tauscher is our green and gold insider every Wednesday at 4:15 on Wisconsin's Afternoon News.
I like his moxie. You know what? We're going to keep him on the 53.
Presented by your Wisconsin Chevy dealers.
Russ bought his first home in Wisconsin with a mortgage from Accunet when today's college freshmen were still in diapers. A few Friday mornings ago, Russ emailed saying he and his wife were ready to buy their forever home. And by 4 o'clock, we were all on a conference call with their real estate agent talking about what it would take to write a winning offer in today's inventory-starved market. And then it happened. They met their dream home face-to-face Saturday afternoon and wrote an offer $15,000 over asking, accompanied by an Accunet property-specific pre-approval letter that guaranteed they could make good on that offer without selling their existing home first and without requiring an appraisal. That's right, no appraisal required, which both the listing agent and seller loved. I can't promise your very first offer will be accepted like Russ and Julie's, but I will promise Accunet can help you and your agent craft the most attractive offer possible. Hey, don't settle for a flimsy, unimaginative bank pre-approval. Get started with your rock-solid, guaranteed pre-approval by clicking on the blue button today at accunet.com.
There's no better place to catch the natural wonders of fall than Lake Geneva. Stroll a lakeshore path in a kaleidoscope of color. Explore winding rustic roads. Take a scenic boat tour or glide through a forest on a zip line. At night, stargaze from a historic observatory, cozy up to a campfire, or have a cocktail on the patio. Enjoy the seasonal bounty at orchards, wineries, and farms with flavors to savor. Plan your fall getaway now at visitlakegeneva.com. Lake Geneva. It's always been the place for fall fun.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher here for my friends at Kohler Services. Have you been thinking of updating your bath or shower? Well, Kohler Services is a local end-to-end bath and shower design and remodel service brought to you by Kohler, a family-owned business in Wisconsin for 150 years. Kohler is the only manufacturer offering fast, professional installation and care for life. Start enjoying your bath or shower right now with a special offer. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote and tell them that I sent you. Again, that's KohlerServicesWI.com.
WTMJ Now.
Trying to figure out politics nowadays. It's not easy. A battle for the position of Speaker of the House in the House of Representatives in Washington. We may talk to a congressman this week or early next week just to get a sense of what this is all about. They're going back into session today to sort it out. Two of the leading candidates, the designee is Steve Scalise, representative from Louisiana, and runner-up was Jim Jordan from Ohio. Here's what Congressman Ken Buck said about the process. He's from Colorado.
Well, both Jim Jordan and Steve Scalise voted to decertify the electors. I don't know that it's going to be a very big factor at all. I think the factor, George, is that we continue to perpetuate a lie about the 2020 election being stolen, that we talk about the January 6th events as a unguided tour of the Capitol, that we are pretending that the people who assaulted police officers and destroyed federal government property are political prisoners. That hurts our ability and credibility to move forward with the American people and tell the American people that we have a serious issue with spending. We, as Republicans, can do a better job securing our border. We know how to deal with inflation. We can deal with the crime issue in our cities. That's the problem I think we have when we continue to perpetuate the myths that we're perpetuating.
Wait a second. Did I just hear a Republican from Colorado actually injecting some common sense into the debate about the election in 2020? Is this on? Oh, my goodness. A Republican said that out loud. Ken Buck. This isn't hard, people. It's not hard at all, actually. This illusion of a second Trump presidency. Before I get to the calls, and the calls are coming in, as I would imagine, given all the things that are happening in American politics, let's hear from the former president, see what he's talking about.
Heard about today, the Hamas terrorist invasion. I mean, when you think about, and what do you think of Hamas? What do you think? Do you know about Hamas?
Hey, he got one of them, or two of them right, actually. He said hummus first, which is a food. And then he said it right the latter two times. And again, for someone who doesn't drink, his clarity, his spoken words seem a little bit off. Now, the president himself, Joe Biden, is not one either to wax eloquently, as we know. So these are the two candidates, folks. What are we going to do about it? Let's go to the phone lines. Rome joins us from the airport. Good morning, Rome. 1, 2, 3, Rome. There we go.
Yes. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
My thing is this: I'm not hoping that Trump wins because I'm hoping that the Republican Party will get their act together and move on from him so that we don't go through that nightmare again. Also, as far as Biden is concerned, being a Democrat, I'm not 100% sold on him, and hopefully, we'll get somebody else in there that might be able to come with some fresh ideas and a little bit more energy. But however, I will vote for a dead Biden before I vote for another Trump.
Hey, Rome, like me, I think you have that sort of willingness to engage in politics, listen, hear what's being talked about, but also this dissatisfaction with the quality of the candidates. Am I reading you right?
Yes, sir. You're spot on. Again, it's about our country. And when you look in terms of how topsy-turvy everything is, and that's something that the Republican Party wanted. They wanted to come in with chaos, and they wanted a chaos candidate, and we got it. And you see where we're at. We're in a situation where we can't make a basic decision as to who the leader is going to be, who the speaker is going to be. So you look in terms of what's going on now with the war, what's going on in Israel, with what's going on around the world, and we're in a situation now where we can't even make, we can't even get our generals to be able to go into their next positions. We can't get our soldiers deployed or paid, because of, this chaos. So we got to get past the chaos and get back on a normal path to democracy.
All right. Drive safe, Roman. Well said. All right. So I always want to present the other side, right? This one from the 262. You truly have Trump derangement syndrome. If we're going to play all the time someone misspeaks, let's start this Joe Biden clip every morning. I could do that, but actually they're not as funny as Trump's are. They're kind of boring, not interesting. But I certainly could do that if you'd like, and I'll take it under consideration. The texter goes on to say you lose credibility and you're losing your argument because you're sound deranged. So let me ask you, texter from the 262. I just played you Ken Buck, solid conservative from Colorado, very conservative state. Lessening a little bit because of the influence of some of the big cities, but a conservative state. So when you hear a Ken Buck, do you just disregard it? Because he's speaking, I think, what a lot of Republicans, I know a lot of conservatives are saying. And you know what, texter? The ones that aren't saying it, their silence speaks volumes. And whether it's an embarrassment for a previous vote, I get it. Whether it's an unwillingness to actually look at the facts, I get it. Because those are awkward things. They don't necessarily build up your self-esteem. I would never deny that Trump tapped into the anger in this country. That's indisputable. And clearly that's one of the reasons he won. I would argue the other reason is Hillary Clinton. But set that aside. That's almost ancient history. There are reasons why things happen. But if Republicans, here's me talking, if Republicans don't get it together, figure this out, accept 2020 for what it was, reject Donald Trump, you may be looking at the biggest massacre electorally in our nation's history. And Ronald Reagan did some serious damage a long time ago. But that's what we're talking about. Because I talk to enough conservatives, women and men, who say, he got my votes twice, he's not getting it again. Unless you just like running candidates to make people angry, then we have a different conversation to have. Mike, stay on the line. We'll get to your calls after this. Join us in the conversation. Talk a little politics to start the show. Don't forget, 9:35, I'm so looking forward to this conversation. Social media's impact on your potential employment. It's my show poll today. Check it out on the X, formerly known as Twitter. If you're not on the X, which is a good life decision, you can weigh in on the Old National Bank Talking Text line always, 24/7, 365 at 855-616-1620. Continuing this conversation after this on WTMJ Now.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here. Join me every Saturday at noon for Experience Wisconsin. We'll check in with communities across the state for the best and brightest spots around the state of Wisconsin. Some organizations thrown in there as well. This week, it's a supper club special. Bob Prosser from Ishnala and Tom Masters from the famous Fox and Hounds.
We try to go over the top because, so many people have come from all over Wisconsin.
It's Experience Wisconsin, Saturday at noon, right here on 620 WTMJ.
Hey, this is WTMJ, Steve Scaffidi for Avon. I've talked about the tossing and turning, the restless nights. Nobody wants that. You don't want that. And I did something about it. My wife said, you should go talk to Advent. This is before I talked about Advent on WTMJ. I went. Quick 30-minute visit. They walked through my issues, what was bothering me. We did a really simple sleep study at my home, easy, one night. Follow-up meeting, they determined the root cause of my problem, sinuses, nasal passages, breathing triangle. They figured it out. They did a short procedure in office. I'm back to breathing well, and the cool part is I'm sleeping through the whole night. Went to bed at 9:30 last night. Woke up at 5:30. Uninterrupted, solid sleep. That's the goal. That should be everybody's goal. If you struggle like I did, that doesn't have to be your story. Take the time to see how Advent can help. To find out how breathing well and sleeping well can make your nights better, go to AdventKnows.com. Schedule an appointment today because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Are you ready for the chills and the thrills of October? Griffin dealerships are here to keep your car running smoothly. We got spooktacular deals that'll send shivers down your spine. We'll change your oil, inspect and rotate your tires, check the battery and the air filter. But that's not all. Our expert technicians will give your car a complete multi-point inspection. Make sure it's ready for the darkest and coldest nights. Worried about your AC or heat? Don't be. We'll check that too, so you'll stay comfortable on your eerie journeys. And if your wiper blades are as scary as the haunted house, we'll replace those as well. All of this for just $129.95. But remember, this offer is only available during the spookiest month of the year and only at the nearest Griffin dealership. So come see Griffin for the deals today. Good at all 5 Griffin dealerships, because when it comes to facing the cold weather, we've got you covered. Let our expert team take care of your vehicles. Drive in, drive out, drive with peace of mind with the magic. Griffin dealerships, your Halloween heroes.
WTMJ Now.
Heard about today, the Hamas terrorist invasion. I mean, when you think about, and what do you think of Hamas? What do you think? Do you know about Hamas?
Little Donald Trump for you from a rally, I believe it was yesterday or the day before. Texter says, why do you hate Trump so much? I don't hate Trump. I don't want to lose another election as a Republican. So somebody says, well, what's your goal here? My goal here is to have a candidate. I've said this with Bill McCoshen a dozen times on the Friday Political Power Hour. As a Republican, I want a candidate I can support. A Nikki Haley, or maybe a Ron DeSantis, others. Give me somebody that I can support, vote for, and probably, if you see the Nikki Haley numbers early, head-to-head against Joe Biden, win the presidential election, which always should be our goal. So spare me the angry stuff. Angry's fine, but if it doesn't win elections, what's it worth, other than you being satisfied you got to be angry and yell at somebody? That's the difference. Give me a Republican candidate that can win the election. And for all you smart guys on Twitter, and girls, your silence speaks volumes. Don't be afraid to say what you believe. And why do I say that? Because I talk to these people. Their silence is not what they think. Mike joins us on the phone. Hey, Mike.
Good morning, Steve. How are you?
I am wonderful on this Thursday.
Yes. Well, you're absolutely right. The silence is not what they think, and I am one of those who voted for Trump twice, but I would not vote for him again. I truly hope we get someone else. Ken Buck is far from the only Republican who thinks like what he said. and I'm glad he said it, but ever since 2020, the Republican Party has been in disarray. And a big part of it is Donald Trump. Now, he did a good job when he was president, as far as I'm concerned, but after 2020, he messed things up a lot with himself and the party. So I am hoping for Nikki Haley or Ron DeSantis, and I do believe there are a lot of Republicans. You know, in both the Republican and Democratic Party, the extremists have taken over.
Mm-hmm.
They never used to have that much power.
No.
But they have taken over both parties, and it's not helping the country one bit.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Mike. I heard this the other day on one of the networks I watch nightly, and I sample everything from MSNBC to Fox and others. Fewer than 10 people, 10 elected leaders in the House on each side have incredible amount of power and control. What is it, the Gang of Eight or whatever it is in the House? And that's not America. That's not how it's supposed to work. The text line is blowing up, which I can appreciate. Thank you for that. From the 414, Trump is going to get the nomination. Get over it. Don't find a Democrat to vote for. I've never voted for a Democrat for president, ever. As I've said, I wrote Nikki Haley in last time. Maybe I was forward thinking to 2024. Consciousness that, or hopefulness that something different would happen. Luis joins us from Menominee Falls. Hi, Luis.
Hi, good morning, Steve. I just came from a long, hard work getting some things off the garden here.
Okay.
Listen, something real quick I wanted to share. My personal view, very objective, like I was telling the gentleman. I'm independent-minded, not as independent of the U.S., but as original Costa Rican person, just free mind, objective. I want to vouch a little bit for the people that voted for Mr. Trump. Sometimes in some conversations in different circles, it sounds like, like people made a mistake. Well, at that point, they were listening to a message which he, whether he discovered or not, or whoever it was, they were on the money. It is a need that's still there. People feel not represented well enough, including vets, and you got a lot of cheap talk from politicians when they're in deficit. For example, the Republicans obviously have been longer in office throughout history than the Democrats, much longer. I think you can count with your fingers when the Democrats been in power. And so when they talk this rhetoric about what they will do, we should focus on this and we should focus on that, that's what I call cheap talk, because my question is, well, how many years do you need to get things done? And there's no reason why this country can be like the early days and not just falling back. But I mean, there's certain things that shouldn't change. The pattern of America being really a place where you feel welcome in many places. Finally, one of the things I love to drive my truck all over the U.S. as I did for the last 4 years, hauling medical equipment, was that South Dakota caught my eye. South Dakota is so educated, those people. South Dakota, why I love it? Because it feels like that America from our time that, well, at least mine, I'm 66. But, people say hi, good morning, real. And there have been places where I've been where they just give me the look, and I know they don't like me. And I don't care. I'm a veteran. I'm an American, and I'm a proud citizen. And I'm always looking out for this. So just wanted to comment on.
I love
that now, because I think that people, they know now, they see it was a mistake, but it's not really a mistake. I think Mr. Trump's actions, which are always different and nobody can guess them. I feel.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, Luis. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
If Trump's the nominee, will you vote for him again?
No, I never voted for Mr. Trump.
Okay, got it. Thanks for the call, Luis. I had to let you go there because we're butting up against the next break. Tom, stay in the line. We'll get you after the break. We'll get to that social media conversation. If I have to wrap around the 10 o'clock news, I will, because it's an important one. Join us in the conversation. Several people already have. 855-616-1620. It's okay to disagree. Make your points. Several callers have done just that. That's the fun part of doing WTMJ Now. Back after this.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
Welcome to our Everyday Health feature sponsored by the Froedtert and the Medical College Wisconsin Health Network. Healthy joints are critical to lifelong mobility. Timely treatment of simple and complex joint problems can help keep you moving. Here to tell us more is Dr. Michael Decker, an orthopedic surgeon with the Froedtert and the Medical College Wisconsin Health Network. Dr. Decker, first of all, thanks for joining us today. What are the treatment options that your team offers?
Well, Jeff, thanks for having me. Treatment options can vary depending on the condition, but there are a number of them. We can go anywhere from non-operative care for patient-specific issues such as injections or medication management, occupational or physical therapy. We can provide a number of unique interventions such as platelet-rich plasma therapies, physical therapists that focus on sports performance and training improvements, all the way to surgical interventions depending on the condition, from soft tissue procedures to full joint replacements.
Dr. Decker, what is it that makes your program so unique?
I think one of the aspects of the Froedtert and Medical College of Wisconsin Health Network that makes us unique is that we can treat patients in a very patient-specific way because of our multidisciplinary and comprehensive approach to patient care. We offer an array of treatment options, including non-surgical treatments, minimally invasive procedures, all the way to more complex open surgical procedures, including robotic surgery for our patients.
Doctor, I know you do a lot with sports performance and an improvement training as well.
That's right. We hope to not just help patients manage the discomfort that comes with their conditions, whatever that may be. We hope that people who have high expectations for their activity levels, such as golfers, tennis players, athletes, and a wide range of folks, have the ability to really hone in and improve their skills and their training in a way that is also protective to their overall physical health.
Dr. Decker, this has been extremely helpful and informative. Thanks so much for being with us today. Find a doctor who's right for you by visiting Froedtert.com/ortho.
It's WTMJ Now.
Ugly battle in the House of Representatives for Speaker. That continues today. And Steve Scalise, representative from Louisiana, is the designee, but nowhere close to the 217 votes he needs to be the Speaker. So that'll play out. And I mean, I think we were talking to Glenn Grothman, Congressman from Wisconsin, last week, and I asked him, would it be settled this week? And I'm paraphrasing, but I think he said no, or something like that. So I think Glenn Grothman, Congressman from Wisconsin, was probably right there. Let's go to New Berlin. Tom's on the line. Hey, Tom. Welcome.
Hi, how are you?
Good, good.
Yeah, I think that makes something that makes a big difference is the fact that RFK Jr. is running as an independent. And I'm a news junkie, and the group with the highest percentage of anti-vaxxers are Trumpers, Republicans. He is going to get those votes. And
yeah, probably.
That's going to take. So Trump will. I did not vote for Trump in 2020. Trump will lose for sure because he just barely. Well, he didn't win this last election, which we talk about,
right.
And he barely won in 2016.
Yeah. So let me ask you. So given that. What is the folly, and I'm using the word on purpose, in trying to run Trump again? We haven't had a vote cast yet, which is kind of the crazy thing about American politics. Some people are already casting Trump as the nominee, but we haven't had a vote yet in any states. What is this fascination with making him the nominee when clearly independents won't vote for him? Anyone who's, as you said, an anti-vaxxer, typically aligned with Trump. What is the story here?
Oh, there's an article I can send it to you. I can email it to you. People that like Trump like an authoritarian figure. That's the main thing. There's an article that says we all know that Trumpers are selfish, and they are because they always talk about gas prices and inflation. It's their money. It's not other people. But the number one thing is they like an authoritarian figure, so they're just drawn to Trump.
All right. Thanks for the call, Tom. I had to let you go there. On that point, I saw this text. I said, you know what, this deserves some consideration and certainly a mention. 920, no name on it, but a woman president can't command the respect needed on an international basis. Well, one, that's sexist. Two, so UK, Germany, many countries around the world have had women leaders, prime ministers, presidents. Wouldn't that be all the evidence you need to suggest that probably blows up that argument? And that goes directly to what Tom just said, this authoritative presence that some people think Trump had. Trump is a bully. He's a playground bully, always has been. And he's just somebody who happened to be in the right place at the right time, caught fire. His campaign had a candidate he could beat in Hillary Clinton, and then we all know what happened after that. But if I encourage you, if you're a Trump supporter, to go listen to what he's saying now. Read the words he puts out in some very hurried, panicked, in some senses crazy press releases or on his own social media platform about anything. He's using terminology that's unpresidential, frankly is more closely aligned to the words of the Caine Mutiny, the commander, talking about the strawberries and the ice cream. I'll see if we can dig up that clip. That's what it sounds like to me. Let's squeeze John in from Burlington. Hi, John. Welcome.
Hey, thanks for taking the call.
Sure.
I'll make it quick. Just as a Republican, as a conservative, I'm 29 years old. For me, at least, this is, totally just my opinion. My number one vote, Afghanistan war still weighs pretty heavy on my mind, kind of growing up during that fight.
Sure.
And the thing, I know a lot of Republicans are talking about Nikki Haley right now, and kind of she's the forefront leader. At first glance, I would agree. But what concerns me is that she is very much the pro-war, and that worries me with Ukraine. It's almost like the American people have amnesia after what happened in Iraq and Afghanistan, and you can go back to Vietnam even. But the lies that come down, it just worries me that getting involved in Ukraine, continuing that, which she is all for, that's really a worry for me as far as her candidacy. And what's weird about it is even, Joe Biden, now you have Democrats that all of a sudden are encouraging foreign war and involvement overseas.
How things change. John, take Nikki Haley out of it. As an alternative to Trump, Ron DeSantis has served in the military. How about him as a viable candidate?
For me, I think he's a weaker candidate for me. I think he could have performed a lot better in the debates in his candidacy itself. He's doing this debate with the governor from California, Gavin Newsom. That really worries me. I don't know why he's doing that. Why would you feel like you need to do that while you're running for the primary?
Let me just answer that, John. Let me just answer that real quick, because I think Ron DeSantis thinks he's going to be the nominee, and somewhere in the back of his mind, he thinks that maybe Joe Biden isn't the nominee and it's Gavin Newsom in his place. I think, and that's just from my perspective, knowing nothing about the two men personally, that's what I'm guessing.
I understand that. Yeah, and that's probably, you're probably correct. I think the Democrats could have a play to somehow get maybe, kind of opening up their side for the running. That is totally possible. We'll just have to wait and see. I think as a Republican, Newsom scares me to death. He seems like a very strong candidate.
Yeah, I know I'm not voting for a California Democrat because I never vote for Democrats. So I'm certainly not going to pick one from California.
Sure.
All right. Thanks for the call, John. Appreciate that. Some great points today. We'll stay on. I got a lot of texts. You're welcome to join us by phone, 855-616-1620. We'll get to that social media story because that is the one that's just in my brain today, especially when I saw the Forbes piece from the owners of companies, big mega companies, who said, you know what, I'm reading these press releases from these student groups. I want to know who these people are, who are basically saying it's Israel's fault that their citizens got slaughtered. I want to know who those people are that signed on to those documents. And my big question is, do employers have the right to read or consider the social media points about Israel, or really any topic, from people they may be hiring? We're going to do that one after this. But let's continue the conversation, 855-616-1620, the Old National Bank talk and text line.
WTMJ Now.
Here at Rich Lawns, we offer both comfort service and expert service.
Our comfort service comes with movie theater popcorn, hot gourmet coffee, upfront pricing, on-time scheduling, plus anything else we can do to keep you comfortable.
Put that on top of honest service from the most friendliest, hard-working people you'll ever meet inside a tire and service center, and well, we'd like to believe we're on the right track to meeting your expectations.
But when your check engine light, tire light, or any other light screams, "Service me," well, that means you're due for our other type of service.
Our expert service. Tires, brakes, belts, mufflers, transmissions, and even engine repair.
Come on into Richlands and put our expert service to the test.
And while you're relaxing, enjoy our comfort services too. I'm Brett Matchke with Richlands, your
due for service.
Since 1964, we've changed your tires and so much more. Richlands Tire and Service, such a refreshing change. Richlands.
Hey, this is Steve Scaffidi for Annex Wealth Management. Savers and investors have been on a roller coaster ride. Good for the amusement park, not much fun with your retirement plan. It's time to get serious about putting a plan in place for your investment and retirement planning. If you're tired of sales pitches when it comes to investment and retirement planning, how about a breath of fresh air? Annex Wealth Management is a diverse and talented team that provides guidance with no products to sell. Investment and retirement planning can be complicated. You know that. Annex can handle it all. They'll create a plan that factors in Social Security, your pension if you have one, IRAs, 401ks, and let's not forget about taxes. Year-round tax planning is a key factor in the success of your plan, especially now. It's time for a plan built by fiduciaries, not someone selling insurance disguised as financial advice. Annex Wealth Management is ready to assist. For retirement investment planning, tax planning, and estate planning, know the difference. Always starts at annexwealth.com.
Siding Unlimited, named the best window installers, not just here, but in the whole USA. Get the best. Siding Unlimited, 3-time winner as America's best window installer. For windows, you call Siding Unlimited. First and directly, sidingunlimited.com.
At Fisher Investments, we do things differently, and other money managers don't understand why.
Because our way works great for us.
But it may not work for your clients. That's why Fisher Investments is a fiduciary, obligated to put clients first. It's the highest standard for a financial advisor.
So, what do you provide? Cookie-cutter portfolios like the rest of us?
No cookie-cutter portfolios here. Fisher Investments tailors portfolios to meet each client's goals and needs.
But you do sell investments that earn you high commissions, right? And make commissions when you make trades for your clients?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission investment products, and we never earn commissions on trades.
So what's in it for you?
Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when our clients do better. When it comes to helping clients achieve a comfortable retirement, we're clearly different. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
WTMJ Now.
All right, we got a few minutes remaining in the 9 o'clock hour. Let's get to the why does it matter part of this conversation, because I think that's the really important part, right? So we see Republicans struggling to pick a speaker in the House, even though, I don't know, maybe a resolution in support of Israel would be a nice thing to kind of put out as a government, since they're one of our most important allies in the Middle East. That's just one consideration. I don't know, there's a continuing resolution that's going to expire on November 17th that impacts the shutdown of our governments. Might be something you want to figure out. But if you guys want to argue, mostly guys, about Steve Scalise or Jim Jordan or Matt Gaetz, you'll get to it eventually. This from the 262, and you're welcome to join us, 855-616-1620. If Trump and Biden are going to be our only choices, I see a lot of people not even bothering to vote. That's the why it matters parts. WTMJ Now. News, opinion, Wisconsin, and why it matters. I would like people to vote in the election. Somebody also asked me on the text line, and they're basically paraphrasing, I've heard that a write-in is a wasted vote. Chances are a write-in, your candidate's not going to win. Nobody's naive enough to think that's not going to happen. But the reason I did it, and I've used this sparingly, I need to feel good about my votes. I'm not going to vote for a misogynist reality TV star who basically has basic knowledge of international rules of law. Even though he was a real estate tycoon, he's got basic economic knowledge, which is painfully obvious in his trial, and it's underway right now, and probably going to take down his financial empire based on lies, misstatements, overrepresentation. I don't throw the word hate around easily, and I don't hate Donald Trump, but somebody like that is dangerous. Dangerous for a lot of reasons. probably most importantly, his basic misunderstanding of the world that he lives in. And his alignments publicly, over and over again, with dictators like Putin, president of China, president of North Korea, as somehow an ally when in fact there are mortal enemies. That should worry everybody. And it's an overused cliche when it's talked about in terms of the president's ultimate power. I don't want Donald Trump anywhere near a button or a briefcase or a suitcase that has any ability to trigger a war that we won't come back from. Bottom line for me is, and we're going to go to break here, most of us are smarter than Donald Trump. Most of us. And I always thought, maybe this is naive, maybe it isn't, I'll just say it anyway. Presidents need be the best and brightest. They have to lead by example. Their words matter. They shouldn't pick fights for no reason. That's what I think about it. Doesn't make me right, just makes it my opinion. And I've got plenty of texts, and if I get a chance, I'll go through them throughout the show that are pro-Trump. Trump 2024 is a common text that comes in on the old National Bank talking text line. You can vote for whoever you want to. I don't care. But as a Republican, I would like to win elections, not lose 14 of 17 in Wisconsin, and not lose again to Democrats for the White House. Otherwise, what are we doing? Quick break. WTMJ Now.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
Hi, it's Brian Noonan from WTMJ Nights. I've got some big news. Starting now, you can download WTMJ Nights wherever you get your podcasts. That's right, you can enjoy our nighttime fun anytime you want. Find WTMJ Nights on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Local news, national stories, random silliness. You'll get a bit of everything on WTMJ Nights. So join me, Brian Noonan, weeknights from 6 to 9 here on WTMJ, the WTMJ mobile app, or wherever you get your podcasts. WTMJ Nights. Listen whenever and wherever you want.
Hi, this is John Neal, CPA, best-selling author, and founder of the Neal Group, with over 40 years of experience helping businesses make money and keep it. 2023 is almost over. How are you doing? Do you even know how you are doing? Do you have money in the bank? Are you getting the advice you need to minimize your taxes and put more money in your pocket? Do your calls get returned and questions answered? We help you look at your numbers and understand what they mean. How would you like an extra $10,000 or $100,000 in your pocket? We can help you now, before the end of the year. Using tried and true strategies, we have helped countless businesses increase their profits and lower stress. Our Neal deal guarantees you'll increase your profit or you don't pay us. Really. If you want to get started on the road to making more money and having less stress, visit nealgroup.net right now. That's NEAL group.net. The first meeting is free to see if we can help. Again, nealgroup.net.
Most companies focus on the product. At Semperfi, we focus on our people and you, and that's never let us down. That's why you can count on Semperfi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semperfi.
Give yourself the gift of beautiful, long-lasting furniture this holiday season. Our pre-holiday sale at Ken Michaels Furniture will ensure that your pieces arrive before the holidays. We're offering 35% off Amish hardwood dining sets in your choice of wood, shape, and finish. Create a holiday table that's ready for your teenager's Instagram. If you order now, you can have the furniture of your dreams by Christmas. Stop in today at Ken Michaels Furniture on Capitol Drive in Brookfield and Highway 100 in Greenfield. Hosting this holiday season? Get your home dressed to impress. Ken Michaels Furniture is having a pre-holiday sale to get your new furniture to you in time. We carry thousands of fabrics, leathers, and wood finishes so you can create a look that's as unique as you are. Order now and wow your holiday guests with personalized furniture. With discounts starting at 30%, you can't beat these deals. Stop in today at Ken Michaels Furniture on Capitol Drive in Brookfield and Highway 100 in Greenfield.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station. It's WTMJ Now.
Trying to figure out politics in 2023 because 2024 is going to be a really important year, and we'll be there for you on WTMJ and all the ways we do it on the air, online, WTMJ.com, YouTube, anywhere you get podcasts, our show, our interviews, our special features, and everything you hear on WTMJ available at all of those different sources. So thanks for taking the time to find us. I saw this text, and I thought this is a great way to kind of wrap it because it kind of encompasses many of the topics that we talked about or conversations we had in this hour. This is from Andy in Appleton. I've consistently voted Democrat the last few years and consider myself an independent. I will not vote for Biden. I'm a never-Trumper, and I'm praying Nikki Haley gets some traction. We need to return to common-sense leadership with no extremes and a leader who can return our economy to strength. Please, God, don't make me choose between the lesser of two idiots again. That is Andy in Appleton. Hard to argue, Andy in Appleton. Look, voters will decide this. We have polls. Yeah, they're misleading sometimes inaccurate. Sometimes they're right, dead rights. And at this moment, Joe Biden, no serious challengers, most likely the nominee for Democrats. Incumbent president always has the advantage. Donald Trump, former president, leading most of the polling nationally. Although you start to look at the state polls and they're starting to move around. And I played it for you earlier, and maybe I'll cue it up again. The piece from Ken Buck, where he's talking about Steve Scalise and Jim Jordan. This is the problem for Republicans. If you don't sort out your leader for something as basic as a Speaker of the House, not undermining the position, you can't get any work done. And you want to show voters in the United States that you don't have a clue about where this country should go? Don't elect a leader for a while. Now, Trump's supporters might say, that's good, because government just gets in the way. Is it, though? You want the government to shut down? Yeah. It's a good talking point for a week or two. But beyond that, we need to get the work done. And for too long, politicians have basically said, you know what, it's more about talking than the actual policy and the work we do. Hence the border issue. Drugs coming across. Trafficking. Human trafficking. Many other problems associated with that issue. You know, and I thought about this last night when I was prepping for the show. You know what will change will forever change that conversation about the southern border? When a terrorist comes across that border, comes to the United States, and does significant damage to the human populations of a major city in the United States. I hope it never happens. I'm not cheering for it. But all of the politicians who have messed the bed on this issue for decades, when or if that happens, that's where you point the finger. Because inability to make up your mind, to figure things out, to actually work on intelligent policy, that's your job. Not press releases and going on MSNBC or Fox. All right, after the break, after the news, the social media question. All these students who are posting things castigating Israel for their role in the slaughter of their civilians. And CEOs are saying, you know what, I'd like to know the names of these students. Because you know what? I'm not going to hire them. The power of social media, but also the risk. After this on WTMJ Now.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
Doesn't it seem like you never have anything to wear? That's why I shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores. Whether it's a designer top, jeans, an adorable skirt, or cute accessories, I always seem to find something I like. And at prices I love. Gently used women's clothing and accessories for far less than you thought possible. At St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield and 23rd and Lincoln in Milwaukee.
Ooh, you're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Fleet Farm's got everything you need for everyday life. And by everything, we mean top products by your favorite brands. From Blackstone to Blue Buffalo, Carhartt to Cooper, Milwaukee to Muddy, Scott's to Science Diet, DeWalt, Levi's, Purina, Husqvarna, Goodyear, Rapala, Vortex, whew, and a whole lot more. In-store or online, check out all the brands Fleet Farm carries to help make your everyday life better.
Keeping you informed, keeping you safe, keeping you engaged and entertained. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
At 10 o'clock, it's 57 degrees, cloudy, a chance for showers this afternoon, a high of 58, more rain on the way for this evening with a low of 52. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Adam Roberts. Right now in Madison, the Wisconsin Assembly standing poised to pass contentious legislation that would bar transgender youth from obtaining gender-affirming surgery and limiting their participation on sports teams, despite an imminent veto threat from Governor Tony Evers. Assembly Speaker Robin Vos speaking in Madison.
When in Wisconsin we require parental consent and don't even allow kids to be tattooed and things like that, it certainly seems to me that something that is more life-changing than even getting a tattoo should not be allowed unless we have a different process.
At least 22 states have enacted laws restricting or banning gender-affirming medical care for transgender minors, most of those states facing lawsuits. A homicide investigation underway after a malnourished and decomposing remains pile of 12-year-old Jakari Robinson was discovered near 38th and Elmhurst on the city's north side earlier this week. Milwaukee officials believe he may have been dead for days. The Milwaukee County Medical Examiner saying the timing of Robinson's disappearance could go as far back as Labor Day. Milwaukee police have still made no arrest in connection with his death. Israelis holding out hope for loved ones taken hostage when Hamas attacked their country over the weekend. CBS's Haley Ott is there.
Those who made it out are holding on to each other for support. Mir Shani's 16-year-old son, Amit, is missing, but he's not giving up.
I'm hopeful he will come back. I'm not willing to consider any other option.
Many are taking refuge in hotels, trying to give the youngest caught up in the conflict a sense of safety during a deadly battle that's only intensifying. Haley Ott, CBS News, Jerusalem.
Meanwhile, in Washington, the House of Representatives scheduled to meet again today after a session canceled on Wednesday, with Republicans unable to get near unanimous support for their choice to be Speaker of the House, Steve Scalise. CBS News' Chanel Call reports.
The chamber plans to convene Thursday, but a vote on the Speaker isn't yet on the schedule. The new leader must hit the ground running with a federal budget crisis and military aid to Ukraine and Israel hanging in the balance.
That position is critical in terms of bringing legislation to the floor and moving things forward.
Chanel Call, CBS News, New York.
Scalise telling reporters the first order of business if he becomes Speaker would be a resolution in support of Israel. Parents in Manitowoc are calling on the school district superintendent to resign from his position. A petition to remove Jim File has amassed over 600 signatures as parents are upset that File removed a free lunch program from Manitowoc schools. Those parents speaking at a school board meeting.
He should resign or be terminated. Let's go 4 to 6 weeks without a superintendent. It can't go worse than it is already.
To come here and say you're teaching parents a lesson? You're not teaching anybody anything.
File has said he has no plans to relinquish his position and that principals in the district have the authority to waive lunch fees for students they feel need financial assistance. And it's been 25 years since Matthew Shepard was tortured and killed in a hate crime in Wyoming.
It was a major moment in the LGBTQ movement, sparking changes in hate crime legislation across the country. The Milwaukee LGBT Community Center's transgender and gender nonconforming coordinator Beck Straight tells WTMJ.
Strides have been made, many strides over past couple decades, even past couple years.
That includes more legal protections for gay people in the U.S., but Straight says there's still work to be done.
A lot of that is missing when it comes to gender identity.
Wyatt Barmore-Pooley, WTMJ News.
News about your money, the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow Jones down 114 points this morning to 33,692. The S&P 500 down just a bit, 4 points to 4,372. And the NASDAQ is up 17 this morning to 13,677. It's time for your retirement and investment strategy review from a fee-only fiduciary. Go to annexwealth.com and click the Get Started button now. Sports, traffic, and weather coming up next. Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:05.
There's free pizza today at the Amazing Mind Chef restaurant in Hartford. Seriously, it's free. F-R-E-E free. Every Thursday when you buy one pizza, you get your second pizza free. No coupons, no gimmicks. It's the best Thursday dining value anywhere. Buy 2 pizzas, get 2 free. Buy 10, get 10 free. You get it. Any size, any quantity. It's buy 1 pizza, get 1 free. Coaches, bring in your football, soccer, cross-country, or volleyball team. Your players can beef up on the Mind Chef's great pizza. Your players will also love that world-class game room. It's great for team bonding. So bring in pizza today for your loyal employees, your valued clients. They'll appreciate it, and your second pizza is always free. It's big food, it's big fun, it's big value at the Mine Shaft. Don't cook and clean today. Take your family to the Mine Shaft. Buy one pizza, get one free, with plenty to take home for tomorrow. The Mine Shaft is in beautiful downtown Hartford and right off the interstate in Oshkosh. Order now and pick up your free hot pizza shortly. I love the pepperoni. It's the amazing Mine Shaft. Check it out at mineshaft.com.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Greg Matzek telling you about the ultimate hangout for hounds and humans. It's the Hounds and Tap in Menominee Falls. It's a state-of-the-art facility providing doggy daycare, boarding, and professional grooming services all on site. Hang out with your dog or without and enjoy time at their indoor-outdoor tavern connected to the dog park. Fun, happy, clean, and safe. They even have trained handlers on site at all times. Visit thehoundsandtap.com for more details. That's thehoundsandtap.com.
Get ready, Wisconsin. It's Medicare annual enrollment period, so why not make enrolling easier with United Healthcare? Whether you choose our online tools or over-the-phone support, United Healthcare will help you compare options so you can choose a plan with confidence. This is Medicare made for Wisconsin. Trusted everywhere. Explore our wide range of plans by calling United Healthcare today at 1-855-MEET-UHC. That's 1-855-MEET-UHC. Annual enrollment begins October 15th and ends December 7th, so call today.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update.
Milwaukee Bucks will be a sight to see on Sunday afternoon. Head coach Adrian Griffin and GM John Horst joined NBA on ESPN to lay out the team's plan for the debut of Giannis and Damian Lillard.
Count on Sunday. It's the next time that we want to see them out there in live competitive play. So it's an exciting time for us, but, it's this process, and we're just taking it step by step.
Bryce Harper hit 2 home runs, and the Philadelphia Phillies go on for the 10-2 Game 3 win over the Atlanta Braves to take the 2-1 series lead. The Diamondbacks are also moving on. After a 3-game sweep of the LA Dodgers, they go on for the 4-2 win, and the Astros take care of the Minnesota Twins by a final of 3-2. They'll face off with the Texas Rangers in the ALCS. And Week 6 of the NFL season kicks off tonight with a matchup of the Denver Broncos visiting the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm Brandon Snide, WTMJ Sports.
Taking a look at your roads, your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving. Time saver traffic, just one tiny little slow spot on 41 southbound from about Capitol Drive to Burleigh. You'll be tapping on the brakes a little bit. It's just adding a couple of extra minutes from Highway Q to the zoo, a 17-minute drive right now. Rest of the system looking fantastic.
Traffic is sponsored by Weisgerber's Golden Mast Inn, your place on the lake. Visit goldenmastin.com.
Make plans this Sunday to visit the Golden Mast for their all-you-can-eat champagne brunch. Enjoy fine dining from 10:30 until 2 at the Golden Mast. Call the Golden Mast and make reservations now.
Your WTMJ 5-day forecast, cloudy today, scattered showers possible later, a high of 58 degrees. That rain will become much more likely overnight tonight. Winds will pick up as well, a low of 52. Moderate to heavy rain tomorrow, 2 to 3 inches possible for areas. It'll stay windy as well, a high again of 58. 57 and scattered showers on Saturday. Lakeside showers Sunday, a high of 55. Monday, chance of showers and a high of 56. Right now in Madison, it's 51. Green Bay, chilly at 49. Waukesha, it's 53. And in Milwaukee, cloudy skies and 56 degrees. I'm Adam Roberts, citing Unlimited WTMJ News Time, 10:09.
It's WTMJ Now. News, opinions, Wisconsin. Everything you need to know in the Badger State and beyond. Here's your hosts, Steve Scaffidi and Sandy Max.
All right, let's get to it. I spent a lot of time this week talking about the reaction and the response of the world and Americans to the attack on Israel, the brutal attack, horrific attack, Saturday in Israel. And I just was watching the monitors in the studio here, and we have 4 big ones, and a couple of them pointed to the fact that the Prime Minister of Israel now releasing the pictures of the babies that were slaughtered in this attack. So if you ever thought that these were manufactured stories or not real, you can, I won't, but you can satisfy that need to see for yourself just by Googling that. All right, so I thought long and hard about this topic, and I actually was going to do it a little bit earlier, but our other one caught fire, and we kind of kept the conversation going through the top of the hour there. So if you remember post-attack, and it started really with Harvard, but many other schools, Columbia, Stanford, other places, have student groups who issued these declarative statements about what they thought about the actions of Hamas in Israel. And Harvard has 31. I think the number's gone up and down a little bit, but I think it's 31. It might be 37. Who basically, I'm paraphrasing, declared that the murders, rapes, kidnappings, and other atrocities committed by Hamas are not the fault of Hamas, but rather the fault of Israel. Let that simmer for a second. Just let it, think about it. So a group of people come into a country, Israel, shooting, stabbing, beheading, burning innocent civilians, and it's Israel's fault. And keep in mind, yes, there's retaliation happening, and I have in my own small way said Israel needs to be cautious here with indiscriminate bombing, and I think they will be. But there's no way on God's green earth that what happened to Israel was Israel's fault. Fast forward a couple days, and there's always great journalism being practiced. Here's the headline. Forbes is where I got it, Forbes.com. Billionaire, others pledge they won't hire Harvard students who signed letter blaming Israel for Hamas attack. I'm going to read a little bit from it because I think it's an important declaration from people that actually, make the economy work and are players, thought leaders in our country. Billionaire hedge fund manager Bill Ackman on Tuesday roundly objected to a controversial statement from a group of Harvard University student organizations solely blaming Israel's occupation of Gaza for Hamas's weekend attack in Israel, calling for the names of the students to be released in an effort not to hire them. It's 33 university student organizations. That's the right number. Ackman is the CEO of Pershing Square Capital Management. Said he's been approached by a number of CEOs asking for the names of the student organizations to ensure, and this is where it gets tricky, none of us inadvertently hire any of their members, arguing students should not be able to hide behind a corporate shield when issuing statements supporting the actions of terrorists. And to that I say, hell yeah. We need more Ackman's CEOs to say that. Jonathan Neiman, the CEO and co-founder of Sweetgreen, a fast casual chain of restaurants, says he would like to know so I never have to hire these people. Healthcare services company Easy Health, CEO David Duell, same. Dove Hill Capital Management CEO, same. Why am I giving you this story? Well, I put it in text earlier. I put it in a tweet earlier, I should say. And I made it my show poll today. And if you're new to the show or don't pay attention to social media, every day I put a question that we're going to talk about on the show. And today had to do with this very story. But I took it one step further because I think this is relevant given the comments of the CEOs. And I'd love to hear your thoughts, 855-616-1620, the old National Bank talk and text line. This is me. Social media provides an outlet for people to post their immediate, often inaccurate or incendiary reaction to world events. Simple question, 855-616-1620, the old National Bank talk and text line. Do you think employers have the right to look at a potential employee's social media postings, take it one step further, what they sign on to that's released on social media when they're at a university, before they hire them? I gave you a few choices. Absolutely not, 15%. Sure, if they ask first, 31%. What's the standard? It's a fair question. 34%. You can also ask who's deciding. And comments. And I already got more than 200 votes, and I just started. And a lot of comments on the X, or Twitter as it's known. So this is just a sampling, and I really want to hear what you have to say. 855-616-1620, the old National Bank talk and text line. Up north, Dan says, the legal precedent has not been established. My HR director suggests the personal life should not be reflected or impact their professional life or what they will do or how they will perform at work. I can look at it, but not let it affect my judgment, to which Up north, Dan says, really? Question mark. Jim says, it's a reflection of your judgment, your ability to express an opinion and to interact with others. Yes. Corey Caminos, what you do outside and unrelated to work is your own business as long as it doesn't have any overlap with the job. And that's where it gets interesting. One's mindsets, one's casualness when it comes to terrorists or terrorism, I think does have something to do with one's approach to any job, especially a customer-facing job. Lisa says, absolutely. If you post it for the world to see, you have to live with the consequences. And everybody forgets this, which is a sort of a big thing to forget. They're social media. They're public. Whatever you put on there can be seen. Therefore, I believe strongly that it is fair game for employers to look at it and make decisions accordingly. Has to be standards, of course, and that's why we have HR directors. That's why we have attorneys. Todd says this. I agree with many of the other comments, but what you post is a reflection of who you are and what your beliefs are. If you don't wish to be judged for radical views, don't post it on social media. No different than a background check. And that, I would say, is the correct way to look at it. What do you think? 855-616-1620. Give me your thoughts. This is a reality in the world of social media. This is one of those things that when an event like the attack on Israel happens, employers, employees, college students should think about. It does matter. What you say or sign on to is relevant when you're going about your life. So think long and hard about what you sign on to and what you say. I do. Quick break on WTMJ Now.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Bucks basketball is back.
And he'll set it down with a two-hand dunk. He's got this place hyped up.
Listen to the Bucks fine-tune their way to the regular season with preseason games on WTMJ. Our next broadcast is Sunday against the Lakers. Our Bucks radio network coverage tips off at 6. We are the home of the Bucks. WTMJ.
Seth, the next ad should be about furnace beyondifications.
No, it's got to be same-day repairs 7 days a week.
A beyondification extends the life of your furnace.
Yes, of course.
And increases efficiency.
Which saves you money on energy bills. I get it.
I don't think you do.
But same-day repair helps people now whose systems are breaking down.
Beyondification saved people from having a breakdown in the first place. What you got to me? Oh, sorry, Merle.
You're right.
We shouldn't be arguing. I was saying people should get a furnace beyondification. Right, saves you money.
I thought same-day repair 7 days a week was better. Saves you time and frustration.
You're exactly right, Merle. You're a genius.
You're a great squirrel.
Get same-day repair or a furnace beyondification today.
Save money.
Save time and frustration.
Online at callcapitalcares.com.
Is your home drafty and cold in the winter? Retrofoam of southeastern Wisconsin will fill your walls, lower your heating and cooling bills, and give you an airtight seal with their foam insulation. It's all done from the exterior of your home without any hassle or mess. Retrofoam offers a lifetime no-cost warranty with a property protection guarantee. They take pride in their customer service, treating all customers like family. Get 0% financing for 5 years if you call and mention WTMJ. Call today at 262-234-FOAM. That's 262-234-FOAM.
For over 4 decades, one name has stood out as a symbol of excellence in automotive sales and service. It's the Boucher Automotive Group, dedicated to providing exceptional experiences to all of our valued customers.
We will help you find the perfect vehicle within your budget while respecting your time.
With 20 convenient locations, we're the one-stop destination for all your automotive needs.
At Boucher, we're your trusted partner on every mile of your journey, riding with you every mile since 1977.
WTMJ Now.
Can a company use your social media profile, your posts, even things you sign on to that are posted on social media in the case of the attack on Israel? Statements from student groups across this country. It's not just Harvard. I read a little bit from the Harvard one. Can they use that to impact your employment? A lot of CEOs saying, you know what, I want to know who these people are. I'll never hire them. Is that fair? Russ joins us from Hales Corners. Hey, Russ.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. What do you think?
Yeah, I wanted to say, for me, I'm looking at this like this is kind of like a free speech issue. But I think some people might think that, let's say, for instance, you can say anything you want, anytime, anywhere, and therefore you're insulated from it. Well, you can walk down the street with, let's say, a neo-Nazi sign legally. People won't like it probably, but you won't get arrested for it. But on the other hand, with the social media thing, it's the same thing. Like, well, you're not really insulated. In other words, you can say some things, but you still have to be responsible for them. So these kids from Harvard, if they have their opinion, that's fine. I don't really agree with it. But again, if you're their boss and you just say, hey, look, and you might even be Jewish, and you might just say, hey, look, I have to let you go. I mean, that's life. I mean, you can't say anything you want, anytime, wherever in America thinking, well, therefore I have all these rights. You still have to be responsible for what you're saying and doing. So as far as that social media thing, I'm thinking, you have to be responsible for that. And I have no problem with that. And really, at the end of the day, looking at what happened there, I mean, you're kind of backing terrorists.
Yeah, that was my take. I think you're exactly right on it. And the word that producer Charlie put on my screen was consequences for this behavior. You can say whatever you want, almost. You can't threaten violence. But you can say virtually anything, but there are consequences to saying those things. And thanks for the call, Russ. Here's a personal consequence. If I'm following you on EX, formerly known as Twitter or Facebook, and I see things that are like, and I'm as someone who just paused my Facebook page for the first time in, I don't know how many, 15 years or so, because I saw this stuff, and people were trying to attack my accounts. I'm like, that's the consequence of your behavior. That was individual me saying, you know what, I've had enough. And if Twitter X keeps it up, that may be my decision there as well, which would be unfortunate because I do utilize Twitter for work. There's a lot of ways to look at this, but I want to be fair to the students. They have opinions on a lot of things. I was a student once, long time ago, and I had opinions on a lot of things. But to expect that you're just going to put stuff out there, and, everybody knows where I stand on this because I've been talking about it all week. What happened in Israel was not a two sides argument. It was a group of terrorists, savages, coming into a country, and now we find out beheading, killing, burning babies, young people, children, seniors. That's not a two sides argument. Doesn't mean I'm naive and don't understand the two-state solution and all the bigger problems, complex problems in the Middle East. I'm aware of them. I'm not an expert on them by any stretch of the imagination. And at some point in the future, we're going to have that conversation too, because it's important. But this is not that time at all. And if that hurts your feelings, I'm sorry. Now, producer Charlie made a great point to me earlier. We're talking during the break. We've seen the rise of anonymous accounts. And to my specific question, whether employers have the right to look at it, well, anybody who's been around hiring practices or HR knows that many cases they will ask you, including for your passwords for your accounts. Now, you don't have to give it to them. You also don't have to be hired there. And if you're on social media, whether it's your name or something that's easily searchable by your image, whatever it is, and you're acting in ways that is counterproductive to someone saying you could be an employee, I think it's fair game. Chris from Green Bay joins the conversation. Welcome to the show, Chris. Good morning.
Thank you for taking my call. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I just want to kind of take the devil's advocate approach here and question, would it be okay then coming from the other way, if there's a pro-Palestinian business who decides, I'm not going to support, and I know it wouldn't be, you can't not hire because of religion, but I'm not going to hire somebody who supports Israelis, or I'm not going to support somebody who makes comments. Is it a one-way street? Because a lot of the world looks at Israel as an occupying force. Again, it's not my opinion, but it's a lot of the world's opinion that they're taking. So I guess, is it a one-way street, or is it just that it's okay for an Israeli or Israel supporting company.
Yeah, I got you, Chris. I got you. Let me answer the question and appreciate the call, and it's a fantastic question. Here's my personal response. Yes, they're doing the hiring. If they see somehow that you've posted something that they completely disagree with, I think it's in their realm of responsibility to say that could be a disruptor at work. Now, I don't know how likely that scenario is, but if I'm going to argue one side, I probably have to argue the other side. Now, you know where I stand on this. Israel's the country being attacked here. And while Chris was speaking, I was actually looking at the monitor, and it's hard to watch. So now they are releasing the images. They're obviously scrubbing them a bit of the children who were killed, young babies, often in their cribs during this attack. And that's hard to watch or even look at. So I would be careful with the both sides argument. And timing is important, and timing is everything. And at this moment, the clear facts for me are this. In the context of whatever the debate in the Middle East is about who can live where, what rights people have to land, and I often caution people when they make these arguments, every piece of land in this great world we live in has been controlled by different groups, almost universally, with some exceptions. Based on, if you got a lot of time and you're willing to really understand what you're talking about, Jared Diamond, last name spelled just like it sounds. Professor, I think it was either UCLA or USC, wrote a great Pulitzer Prize winning book called Guns, Germs, and Steel. And it talks about why the world looks the way it does, why some countries moved faster than others. It's a long read. The book is about 2.5 inches thick. But it deserved the Pulitzer Prize. But it spells out the realities of the world. There are advantages by geography, advantages by technology. So careful with the argument that, this is our homeland, because at any stage of our world's history, different people called it their homeland. The only way it works in respect to peace is you figure out how to pacify or reconcile those differences. If you don't figure those out, you will have what we saw in Israel. Join the conversation. We could go a lot of different ways in this, but I'm asking the question about employers. Do they have a right to look at your social media and make decisions accordingly? I say yes. What say you? After this on WTMJ Now.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
Be our eyes on the road. See something out there that I should know about?
Hi, there is an accident on I-43 northbound.
Call me, Debbie Lazaga, at thehallmazda.com traffic tip line at 414-238-9329.
Hi, Debbie. It's Michael. Just drove through the area of 894 West. There's debris in the roadway.
The drive affects you. Why not be part of it?
I'm sitting here at I-43 north of Silver Spring. It's a parking lot.
Give me a call, 414-238-9329.
Russ bought his first home in Wisconsin with a mortgage from Accunet when today's college freshmen were still in diapers. A few Friday mornings ago, Russ emailed saying he and his wife were ready to buy their forever home. And by 4 o'clock, we were all on a conference call with their real estate agent talking about what it would take to write a winning offer in today's inventory-starved market. And then it happened. They met their dream home face-to-face Saturday afternoon and wrote an offer $15,000 over asking, accompanied by an Accunet property-specific pre-approval letter that guaranteed they could make good on that offer without selling their existing home first and without requiring an appraisal. That's right, no appraisal required, which both the listing agent and seller loved. I can't promise your very first offer will be accepted like Russ and Julie's, but I will promise Accunet can help you and your agent craft the most attractive offer possible. Hey, don't settle for a flimsy, unimaginative bank pre-approval. Get started with your rock-solid, guaranteed pre-approval by clicking on the blue button today at ACCUNET.com.
Get to and from every home game in Green Bay this football season safely. Milwaukee Broad House, Jack's American Pub, and Wanakee Golf Course all offer transportation on game days. They've got bus services with private restrooms and all-you-can-drink packages. There's still room for the October 29th and November 5th games. Book your round-trip ride and get access to an all-you-can-eat and drink tailgate at the bar on Holmgren Way. Make your game day experience a VIP experience with your official ride to Green Bay. Visit golfwanakee.com to book your trip today.
This message is for the person who always gets asked to make the plans, the person others always go to for restaurant recommendations. Next time, you're the one expected to plan the next team outing or girls' night out. Let Milwaukee or Chicago Food and City Tours make those plans for you. Don't worry, you can still take the credit, but we'll handle the planning and make sure that everyone, including you, has a delicious time. You set the date, we'll handle the rest at MilwaukeeFoodTours.com or ChicagoFoodTours.com.
It's WTMJ Now.
Can employers look at your social media profile, your comments, your posts, what you sign on to, the words you use, the accusations you make, and use it accordingly? I say enthusiastically yes. Rich joins us on the phone from Illinois. Hi, Rich.
Hey, Steve. I totally agree with that. If I'm a business owner, I'm going to use everything at my disposal to see what kind of character and person is going to be in my employment. So absolutely, I'm going to base things on stuff like it. If they don't want it out there, they shouldn't put it out there.
Yes.
And if I could make, I'm sorry, but if I could also, I think Chris was the last caller, his point about the Palestinian business owner not wanting to hire a Jew, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
But this technically isn't a Palestinian-Israel thing. It's a Hamas terrorist group Israel thing.
Correct.
And a lot of the Palestinians are just caught in the middle. So I think he was kind of way off his nut on this whole thing. So.
Yeah, I appreciate the call, Rich, calling from Illinois. And I get a lot of listeners in Illinois, and I love the fact that you guys do. You have a lot of choices down there, and you chose WTMJ. So thanks for calling in. A couple things. One, it is not okay to use faith as a qualifier for work. So let's be clear about that. And that is a violation, federal and otherwise. But the words that you use, especially if you choose words of violence, which frankly happens far too often on social media, is certainly something that companies should be able to utilize when they're making decisions about their hiring. That's not surprising or shocking. Cheryl says this on the X, Twitter. Absolutely, I think it does show a person's character and judgment. And I feel like I have to clarify this every 15 minutes. My position is there are obviously major complex issues related to who lives where, who has a right to exist in what place in the Middle East. That's not what this is, though. This was an unprovoked attack, slaughter, killing in the state of Israel by Hamas, a terrorist group. Shouldn't be afraid to use the word. Talked about that extensively yesterday. That's what they are. They're actually worse than that, and words I couldn't use on the radio. So none of this is breaking news. That's what I think about it. Doesn't mean I disrespect Palestinians. I don't. And I called for yesterday, Israel needs to play this right, to respect the rules of engagement in war. An indiscriminate bombing of neighborhoods that don't house Hamas would not be received well in the international world. And I think they understand that. And I think one of the reasons you may see a ground attack starting fairly soon is they will literally go house to house, find Hamas, and remove them. And as ugly as this reality is for some people, there's only one way to remove terrorists, and that's to kill them. Because chances are you're not going to rehabilitate them at any point. And removing those people so that Palestinians can actually just raise their children without the impact of people whose sole mission is to remove Israel from the map and commit genocide on people who live there. That's the goal of those people. And that's something we should eradicate. From the Old National Bank talk and text line, lots of texts. The wheel is spinning today, as they say. Texture says 262, love Jared Diamond's book. Thanks for reminding me of it. Time for a reread. It is probably the most important book that I read in the last 20 years, and it's a Pulitzer Prize winning book. It's a long read. I caution. One of the listeners about a year ago, I raised that the name of the book on the show, and he sent me a note. I think he was on vacation, and he started to read it. It is a long read, and I have it on my bookshelf, and I'm actually going to read it again because it's so relevant to the story of the world, the power of countries, why we see. I'll give you a quick example. The technology of Europe when they went to South America, vastly superior to the native populations. Now, you can throw out the smallpox thing and bring disease. They would have no way of knowing they were doing that, so you have to throw that one out. But the thing that drives me nuts about these conversations, when you talk about native populations, if you truly believe that all people are created equal and have very similar characteristics, positive and negative, why do we always scrub out the negatives of the native populations? And if you point to some of the South American dynasties, human sacrifice, burying people alive, attacking and destroying other communities around the larger cities. They don't get a pass on that. And that's the danger of oversimplifying these things. More from the Old National Bank talk and text line. Steve, this is from Chris. Steve, the group favoring Hamas in these protests will again protest being judged for their actions, but yet will judge a candidate for a social media post about something they do not like. More hypocrisy. Mitch makes a point I made yesterday. So you expect me to pay off your student loan debt and hire you after you post vile comments in support of terrorists? Not on my watch. I think that's exactly right. 262, Hamas needs to be taken out because of what they did to the women and children in Israel. We cannot, however, have this turn into a proxy war if Iran gets involved, which leads to Russia and the USA. That sounds like World War III, then God help us all. That is the ultimate risk here. Nations in the lead up to World War II, they played these same scenarios. Slight incursion here, allowing dictators to move into territory, to take over countries, to say things, and then the attempt to pacify them to avoid a world war actually got you in a world war. And thankfully, the Allies won World War II, otherwise the world would, well, we don't know, but at least short-term would have been a much different place. Still welcome your calls, 855-616-1620. The right of an employer. I think this is clear-cut. I support the CEOs of companies say, you know what? You sign a letter like that condemning Israel for the attacks on its citizens? I don't want you working for me. If I was a CEO, I'd say the exact same thing. More after this on WTMJ Now.
WTMJ Now.
Hey, the future of joint pain relief is right here in Milwaukee. It's QC Kinetics, Advanced Regenerative Medicine, and it's amazing. Hey, it's Greg Matzik. If you've been told more steroids or surgery are your only options, don't be so fast. Get a second opinion and learn more about how you can harness your own body's healing agents to attack that joint pain. I'm talking lasting relief. QC Kinetics doesn't mask the pain. These treatments go to the very root of the problem, using concentrated healing properties placed directly in your joint to restore and repair that damaged tissue. Imagine living your life this fall with no more pain in your knees, your hips, your shoulder, or your back, with no drugs, no downtime, and no surgery. Hey, life is all about motion, and QC Kinetics is giving people their lives back with these all-natural treatments. Call the local medical professionals and get a free consultation today. QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. Call 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. Again, 414-285-3474.
What's the way to build your wealth?
If you want to be sure that you're getting financial planning advice you can trust, work with a fiduciary. A fiduciary should be someone who acts as a steward for you. It means they treat your assets as if they were their own, that they protect them as if they were their own, and that they try to grow them as if they were their own. Now, you can take this for what it's worth, but I'm doing all I can to run a firm you can trust. That's why we're a fee-only, comprehensive financial planning firm that doesn't work for anyone but our clients and focuses only on their best interest. By being a steward, being a fiduciary to help our clients reach their financial goals. I'm Jim Cantrell, and I believe we can show you a wiser way to build your wealth. So go to financialstrategiesinc.com and schedule a no-cost consultation.
Financial strategies, but what's the way to build your wealth?
WTMJ Now.
I'm going to shift gears here a little bit. I saw this story in the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel the other day, and Tuesday, and the headline spoke to me about a larger issue, and it's one I've talked about before, and since I've made some people mad today, might as well continue that process. And my intention is not to make you mad. It's to inform and engage, and you guys have been great today with your calls and texts, so thanks for that heavy lifting. Here's the headline. Milwaukee resident who works in Waukesha County tests positive for measles. So the resident tested positive for measles, and now they're trying to figure out where this person was. There's a couple locations. And I love this quote from the health commissioner, Milwaukee's health commissioner. Measles is a vaccine-preventable disease. It's also highly contagious, by the way. It's also a disease that we've almost eradicated, but here we are. Why are you talking about this, Steve, you could ask? Because once again, the word consequences comes into the equation. For whatever reason, whether it's the JFK or RFK Juniors of the world or the weird conspiracy theories about vaccines, more and more people are choosing not to get vaccinated, to delay vaccinations to when their kids are older. And that's direct action, or inaction, I should say, is putting the population at risk. Well, so save the text. Well, if you're vaccinated, why do you care? Well, for one thing, babies, they don't get vaccinated right away. Let me give you the risks first. Measles can be dangerous. Causes pneumonia. 1 out of every 1,000 children who get measles, their brain swells and they get encephalitis. Can lead to deafness, intellectual disability issues. 1 out of every 4 people in the United States who get measles will be hospitalized. Costly, dangerous. 1 or 2 out of every 1,000 children in the United States who get measles, this is just the United States, it's worse elsewhere, will die from the disease. So those are the realities. That's the real stuff, not the conspiracy, the real stuff. So the measles vaccine, which is also known as MMR, are given typically between 12 and 15 months of age, and the second dose around 4 years old. One dose, just one dose, is 93% effective, so very, very effective. If you are pregnant, if a woman's pregnant and severely immune compromised, the vaccine is something that you have to talk to your medical provider about. So again, big picture here. Why am I talking about this? Because the fallout from the pushback against the COVID vaccine, I think, and you can share your opinion, 855-616-1620, has created a larger group of Americans who are hesitant or resistant to getting any vaccines to the point where they're not getting their kids vaccinated. Now, many school districts required that, and that has been a controlling factor. But there's also school districts and private schools who have pushed back or rolled back those requirements. It's dangerous, deadly. And again, save the text. Not everybody can get vaccinated. Small infant children don't get vaccinated until they're older. So that kid could get measles potentially from someone who may not even know they have measles. And if you have measles and you're walking around, that's also dangerous activity. And you can get vaccines at doctor's offices, pharmacies, some of the health departments. I mean, they're not hard to find. Do you think, 855-616-1620, the old National Bank talk and text line, we're going to continue to see a rise in people who are saying no to vaccines? I do. And the second piece of this is, my opinion, it's dangerous, and in some cases deadly. And in my case, sometime in the next 2 weeks, I'm getting 3 vaccines, all on the same day, not in the same arm, but all on the same day. That's my choice to keep me healthy and to keep my wife healthy, who is immune compromised. Do you think there's a cause and effect here? Resistance to the COVID vaccine leading to more and more Americans saying, you know what? We're not vaccinating for anything. I do. What do you think? After this.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano here for Excel Concrete Coatings, the local family-owned company that transformed my garage. My concrete floor was all beat up, cracked, broken, uneven. Excel fixed that, topped it with a beautiful multicolored surface, sealed the whole thing tight. They'll do the same for your pool deck, garage floor, basement, outdoor patio. Call the owners of Excel Concrete Coatings directly. 262-993-6950. Greg and Luann can't wait to hear from you. Tell them Vinny sent you at Excel Concrete Coatings.
Hey, it's WTMJ Steve Scaffidi for Panoramic CBD. I'm a customer and a spokesperson, and I love their products. Whether you're looking to reduce anxiety, pain, depression, or just need to relax, Panoramic CBD has the best products for everyone needs. They farm, process, test, and package their own CBD products, hence the slogan, from soil to oil. By overseeing every stage of that process, Panoramic CBD eliminates the middleman, ensuring unmatched quality throughout to offer you the best CBD products at the best prices for you and your pets. Yes, your pets. Calm those pets down. Shop local. Shop Wisconsin. From soil to oil, find them at PanoramicCBD.com.
At Annex Wealth Management, we believe every portfolio tells a story. After all, we've analyzed thousands. Some reflect diligence and fortitude. Others, a mishmash of overlapping investments. When Annex reviews your portfolio, we spot what works, what might not, and then provide unbiased suggestions free from sales commissions. Every portfolio tells a story. Let's work on yours. Investment, retirement, tax, and estate planning. As a fee-only fiduciary, that's our story. Head to annexwealth.com.
There's no better place to catch the natural wonders of fall than Lake Geneva. Stroll a lakeshore path in a kaleidoscope of color. Explore winding rustic roads. Take a scenic boat tour or glide through a forest on a zip line. At night, stargaze from a historic observatory, cozy up to a campfire, or have a cocktail on the patio. Enjoy the seasonal bounty at orchards, wineries, and farms with flavors to savor. Plan your fall getaway now at visitlakegeneva.com. Lake Geneva, it's always been the place for fall fun.
Siding Unlimited, named the best window installers not just here but in the whole USA. Get the best. Siding Unlimited, 3-time winner as America's best window installer. For windows, you call Siding Unlimited first and directly. SidingUnlimited.com.
This is a year of change for Wisconsin football. Whether it's a new quarterback or coach, our teams will be exciting to watch this season. As Wisconsin's 3PL, Evans Transportation knows a thing or two about changing things up when it comes to manufacturers' accounting, shipping, and tracking needs. Call Evans if your supply chain team isn't running on all cylinders this season. Good luck to our Wisconsin football teams from Wisconsin's 3PL in Delafield. Find them at evanstrans.com. That's evanstrans.com.
For over 6 decades, Blaine's Farm and Fleet's Toyland has made wishes come true for everyone. Starting Saturday at 7 a.m., the tradition continues during Blaine's Toyland opening weekend. Like top toys from Barbie, Hot Wheels, Melissa and Doug, and more. Plus, shop our super weekend doorbusters throughout the store, like 30% off select dog and cat toys. And select men's, kids, and toddlers' outerwear styles are half price. Blaine's Farm and Fleet's Toyland, where wishes come true for everyone, starting Saturday at 7 a.m.
It's WTMJ Now.
A bunch of texters asked for the name and the author of the book I was referring to earlier. It's Guns, Germs, and Steel. The author is Jared, J-A-R-E-D, and Diamond, just like it sounds, D-I-A-M-O-N-D. I will warn you, and it's one of the best books I ever read. And it's the winner of the Pulitzer Prize, I think in 98 or 97. But it's like doing a class in human societies. So all of the cultures and the countries on this planet, why they ended up the way they were, why some countries were dominant, some weren't. And you can kind of guess by the name, those that embraced steel, discovered the technology to create steel, and then guns, and unknowingly brought germs to cultures that hadn't been exposed to it previously, is probably the biggest reason why Europe and other places in the world dominated for thousands of years. So anyway, getting back to the topic, lots of commentary on the Old National Bank Talking Text line, which is fine. Love to have you on the phone as well, 855-616-1620. Matt from Howard's Grove. I'm pretty sure I got all my vaccinations, 42 years old now, but at the time I just let my parents make those decisions. But I don't trust the government. right or left. So when they tell me I have to do something or encouraging and shaming me to do something, that's when I question why. And is there a consequence to everything? What is the consequence to our bodies for us getting vaccinated? Is the cancer rate higher? Is dementia, Alzheimer's higher? I would say the evidence is not there to make a correlation between the two. So I'll use me as an example. So I've had all the COVID vaccines and boosters. And I actually this is just me. Most people aren't like this. I actually keep a record of when I got those, my little card. And then every time, because of a close contact that I had to test or tested, and then the dates and the reason for the test. So, and I think I've had 28 tests subsequent to all those original vaccinations. And that's me. That's my response to the COVID pandemic. And I've said this before, I've never gotten COVID, and I've been in every situation you could possibly in to get COVID. Close contact many, many times, large stadiums, international travel, airplanes, speeches, public setting, everything you could possibly do, and I never got COVID. So for me, the vaccine works. That's me. From the 414, the COVID vaccine. Now, there will be some opinions. I'm going to read them. I'm not going to necessarily agree with them. The COVID vaccine is a whole different ball game. Not effective. Keeps mutating. The other vaccines have a proven track record. To a point, but I would argue that the vaccinations that people got for COVID knocked down what could have been a much more serious implication for the health and safety of Americans. To me, that's not in dispute. Mike from Grafton. I got all 3 shots last week. Just a word of advice. I felt terrible for a day. Definitely glad I'm vaccinated. Yeah, that's kind of my reaction. When I get multiple shots, I don't really feel good. And I know it's coming up on a Wednesday, I think in October at some point. So Thursday, I'll be achy. But for me, the trade-off is worth it. From the 414. It boils down to consumer confidence. The government is failing to lead in a manner that instills trust. Not disagreeing with that. The government mandated vaccines for certain segments of society, but then issued an order that nobody could file a lawsuit against the pharmaceuticals if they were harmed by the vaccine. Many don't trust that action. Ultimately, people can do what they want to do. Personally, I have known families that have had 3 family members lost to COVID. They were angry about it, they didn't like it, and that specific family, none of them were vaccinated at all. Lived in the same, for the most part, house. So that's my reality. I have known people that passed from COVID, no close family members, but people that I knew in my city that passed from COVID. So that's my reality. I don't buy the COVID was all made up, COVID was the flu, and I've often cautioned people who, well, I haven't cautioned them, I've scolded them for some of the early, talk about social media earlier, some of the early tweets and posts from people that do what I do about COVID. Just for the fun of it, I kept some of those, and maybe at some point I'll put those back out there. How dangerous and wrong some of these talkers were about vaccines and COVID. It's embarrassing, but here's the problem. There's no accountability for people that do that. So that's the sad reality about all that. One more quick text before we get to break here, and then we got, of course, That's What Steve Said coming up in the 11 o'clock hour. Looking forward to that. About the reality of those who got ill because they took the vaccination. I got Crohn's disease because I had an autoimmune response to the vaccine, but we weren't the narrative. I'm so sick of talking about this COVID stuff. Enough's enough. I hear you. There's fatigue, certainly. Vaccination fatigue, COVID fatigue. We went through hell for 2+ years. And it was very damaging to our culture, very damaging to our students, especially those who couldn't go to school. And I think we're learning a lot about how political response, which has unfortunately permeated everything in our culture, impacts public response. It's a big question, and one we're not going to figure out today. But that is the reality of the world we live in. That's why we talk about it. Quick break here on WTMJ Now.
More of WTMJ Now after this. Stay in touch. You can reach us on the Old National Bank talk and text line at 855-616-1620. Old National Bank. Get old.
R&R Insurance does an exceptional job of providing employee benefits to all of us here at Good Karma Brands. Companies are starting to plan for fall enrollment for their workforce. Here's Jeff Salasinski, VP of Insurance Operations at R&R Insurance.
Thanks, Vince. A benefit understood is a benefit appreciated. Knowing how to best communicate your benefits will help your employees understand their options, guide their decision-making, and increase their sense of value and engagement. In this tight labor market, businesses need to know how to use their benefit program to attract and retain employees.
So, Jeff, what's the solution?
At R&R Insurance, we help employers brand their benefit packages in a customized, easy-to-understand fashion, taking out the complex and confusing nature of shopping for health insurance. With our latest mobile technology, your employees will have easy, immediate access to benefit information for themselves and their families 24/7. At R&R Insurance, we know employee benefits.
That's Jeff from R&R Insurance. Thanks for the great info, Jeff.
At Semper Fi, we work hard not to tarnish our reputation. And that's what will make your decision to work with us one you won't regret. You can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
Keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here for Floor Coverings International. They're doing the flooring in my house, and it is awesome. You get a rave-worthy experience with Floor Coverings International, the stars of flooring. Now enjoy special financing and save hundreds off on new floors during FCI's Save with the Stars event. Enjoy FCI's all-star service, including the mobile flooring showroom. I love that. Thousands of options, down to the penny quotes, and professional installation by one local team for your entire project. Offer ends 11/30/23, so schedule your in-home consultation today at FCIPromo.com. Offer good at participating locations.
Check out our brand new Hyundai dealership, one of the largest in the Midwest.
Step inside of our state-of-the-art showroom where you can view our new Hyundai models and some of our finest certified pre-owned.
We've also expanded our service center, staffed by our factory-certified technicians.
And right next door, we've started construction on our all-new Genesis of Waukesha dealership.
But we're not just building walls, we're building careers.
So if you're looking for a career with great benefits and opportunity for growth, Boucher is the place for you.
At Boucher, we ride with you every mile.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a good karma brand station. WTMJ Now.
I spent some time at the Medical College of Wisconsin last night doing a storytellers event with the group Harmony for Hope, and the special guest was President Mike Lovell from Marquette University, president of Marquette University, and told his story. And I'll bring some of that to you at some point in the next weeks ahead. But got me thinking about this. And then Mark texted this on the Old National Bank talk and text line. Steve, I'm totally fine with folks having a free choice on this. I saw firsthand during COVID that deniers came into the hospital and pleaded for help and then a ventilator. Well, on a ventilator, they still were denying that it was COVID. They got sick and wouldn't put a burden on the healthcare system. That would be fine, but not sure how that could ever be accomplished. That was Mark texting in. Yeah, I mean, I've heard similar stories. I have a lot of friends who work in healthcare, various different jobs, and that's a commonly repeated story. That, opinions are fine, but when you need a medical professional and you're fighting for your life, all the politics and the noise of COVID kind of goes away and you just want your life saved. So that's the cold, hard reality of it. But again, choice is choice, and that means that if you don't want to get vaccinated, you don't have to get vaccinated. That's the kind of the amazing thing about living in this country. All right, I need two callers to 855-616-1620. We're going to play That's What Steve Said, 5 questions that could change your life. Well, if a gift card can change your life, and it can because it's the Mine Shaft restaurant. And I'll tell you, every Thursday, 2-for-1 pizzas, and they have fantastic pizza and great food. Beautiful downtown Hartford. 2 callers right now, 855-616-1620. One more time, 855-616-1620. You can win if you get the most answers right. The 5 questions, That's What Steve Said, after the news, which is next on WTMJ.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
I thought I was going to have to go through a hip replacement or some painful, unsuccessful surgery or be crippled the rest of my life.
Electrical engineer Dan Vogler had awful arthritic pain in his hips. Pain that not only affected him physically, but also emotionally. And it spilled over even to his relationships.
I was almost mean. If you're in pain and other people don't sympathize with it, you're lashing out at the wrong people.
But then Dan found QC Kinetics with the latest advances in regenerative medicine, non-surgical treatments with lasting relief.
I felt immediate relief. I mean, within half a day, much of the inflammation and pain was down.
And today, Dan says he's totally pain-free, living the life he wants.
At the end of the fourth treatment, I felt pretty much healed and enthused and was raving about QC Kinetics. I can recommend them highly to anyone.
Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Get your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval to buy at ACCUNET.com.
Keeping you informed, keeping you safe, keeping you engaged and entertained. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
At 11 o'clock, 56 degrees, with rain coming later today from the WTMJ Breaking News Center. I'm Eric Bilstead. Israel has the U.S.'s back and vice versa. The United States vowing to stand by Israel. The White House in Israel right now. The message from Secretary of State Blinken bringing his trip to Tel Aviv.
In Tel Aviv, a pledge from Antony Blinken to Prime Minister Netanyahu.
As Israel's defense needs evolve, we will work with Congress to make sure that they're met.
And amid fears that this could escalate regionally, the U.S. government delivering through Blinken a stern warning.
To any adversary, state or non-state, thinking of taking advantage of the current crisis to attack Israel, don't. The United States has Israel's back.
Tom Rivers, ABC News at the Foreign Desk.
Meanwhile, in Washington, the fight for Speaker is continuing, and Congressman Steve Scalise working the phones, hoping to get some more votes in his corner. ABC's Jay O'Brien says a vote likely not today, could be sometime.
There could be a vote today. We know that Republicans are again having another closed-door meeting not long from now in which they're going to air some grievances and have discussions about that ongoing leadership process. But there's no vote scheduled today. There could be a vote scheduled for tomorrow, or this could get kicked into next week, some sources are telling me.
In Madison, impeachment is not off the table. State Assembly Speaker Robin Vos explaining that focusing on actions while in office is the reason for the pause on impeachment of State Supreme Court Justice Janet Protasiewicz.
I think Justice Protasiewicz made a mistake in not recusing, but she has said she can be an independent jurist. If we see that the contributions that the Democratic Party made to her, expecting a result in that will certainly be something that we have to keep on the table.
Protasiewicz declining to recuse herself from the redistricting case, stating that she never promised or pledged to rule with any political influence. Meanwhile, moving forward on the stadium funding, Vos says the committee voting on the stadium funding bill later this week.
Hopefully it'll have a good, strong bipartisan support, and it gets to the Assembly through the same way.
The bill right now would allocate $614 million in public funding from the state, the city of Milwaukee, and Milwaukee County to repair and renovate American Family Field. It's been 25 years since Matthew Shepard was tortured and killed in a hate crime in Wyoming.
It was a major moment in the LGBTQ movement, sparking changes in hate crime legislation across the country. The Milwaukee LGBT Community Center's transgender and gender nonconforming coordinator Beck Straight tells WTMJ.
Strides have been made, many strides over past couple decades, even past couple years.
That includes more legal protections for gay people in the U.S., but Straight says there's still work to be done.
A lot of that is missing when it comes to gender identity.
Wyatt Barmore-Pooley, WTMJ News.
Time now for news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Right now, the Dow is down 28 to 33,775. The NASDAQ up 32 to 13,692. The S&P is up 2 to 43.79. Annex Ignite, Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client. They'll meet you where you're at. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather next. Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:04.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now. I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code RACE for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code RACE for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code RACE.
It's here on consignment from over 10,000 nationwide partners. From very high-end, distinctive furniture, unique antiques and original art, to tasteful home decor that can fit almost any budget. Premium home decor priced right at 25 to 40% off retail prices. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
Smart interior designers know that what they'll see here is going to be almost impossible to find anywhere else, especially at our consignment prices. Premium home decor that's gently loved and close to new. And what we carry can raise the wow factor of anyone's home decor. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update.
The Milwaukee Bucks will be a sight to see on Sunday afternoon. Head coach Adrian Griffin and GM John Horst joined NBA on ESPN to lay out the team's plan for the debut of Giannis and Damian Lillard.
Count on Sunday. It's the next time that we want to see them out there in live competitive play. So it's an exciting time for us, but, it's this process, and we're just taking step by step.
Bryce Harper hit 2 home runs, and the Philadelphia Phillies go on for the 10-2 Game 3 win over the Atlanta Braves to take the 2-1 series lead. The Diamondbacks are also moving on. After a 3-game sweep of the LA Dodgers, they go on for the 4-2 win, and the Astros take care of the Minnesota Twins by a final of 3-2. They'll face off with the Texas Rangers in the ALCS. And Week 6 of the NFL season kicks off tonight with a matchup of the Denver Broncos visiting the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm Brandon Snide, WTMJ Sports.
Checking the WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. Couple of trouble spots right now. 43 northbound north of the Marquette before you get to Capitol Drive. There is a disabled vehicle on the side of the road right around Keith Atkinson there. So there's a squad on hand, but because of it, traffic moving slowly to the left around there, so you're going to see some slowdowns in that stretch. Also, 4145 south, still slow near Capitol Drive as well through the road work there. So construction being done, that's slowing things down. Also seeing some tightness, 4145 north too, before you get to Good Hope as well.
Traffic is sponsored by the amazing Mineshaft Restaurant in downtown Hartford.
The successful Mineshaft Restaurant in Hartford is hiring an experienced bar manager with income upwards of $60,000 a year and always busy. Inquire today, start next week.
The WTMJ 5-day forecast for today: cloudy, some scattered showers, a high of 58. Tonight, showers are likely, windy, a low of 52. Now for your Friday, a moderate to heavy rain tomorrow. Windy, a high of 58. Saturday, still some scattered showers and windy, a high of 57. Sunday, still a chance for showers, a high of 55. Monday, slight chance for rain and a high of 55 again on Monday. Right now in Milwaukee, 56 degrees. I'm Eric Bilstead, Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:08.
It's time to talk about the topics that were vague.
That's what she said. Ha! I don't get it.
It's time to talk about the topics that were hard.
That's what she said. Or he said.
It's time to talk about the topics that had us saying...
That's what she said.
It's time for...
That's what she said.
No, it's time for That's What Steve Said.
Let's just say it to lighten the tension when things sort of get hard.
Oh, thank you, Steve Carell. I haven't heard that in a while. Missed that. All right, every Thursday. Thanks to the Mineshaft Restaurant, beautiful downtown Hartford and Oshkosh along Highway 41. We give away a $30 gift card, but you got to play the game. And right now, Scott is the only one on the board, so there's an opportunity here for someone to come in and snatch what would be an easy win for Scott if no one plays. $30 gift card, Mineshaft Restaurant. And I'm looking at the questions in front of me because I write them. I think they're easier this week. So 855-616-1620 is the number to call. Let's have a contestant, a competitor for Scott from Fox Lake, and Charlie will monitor those phone lines and get us one. So while we're waiting for another participant, let's talk to Scott from Fox Lake. Hi, Scott.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How's things out by you in Fox Lake?
A little rainy right now, actually.
Yeah, it's coming. It's going to be a rainy weekend. So tell us about Scott from Fox Lake in 30 seconds or less.
Scott from Fox Lake. Family guy with 2 kids, one at MSOE and the other one is a CNA at a place in Oconomowoc. One granddaughter, Elizabeth, she's the light of my life.
My grandkids, too. That's the best thing in the world, isn't it?
They are, yep.
All right.
Girlfriend Shelly works at the ABS Center, Surgery Center. Give her a shout-out.
Shelly, was that?
Shelly Herbert, the nurse and her friends at ABS Center. Giving them a shout-out.
All right, ABS shout-out from Steve on That's What Steve Said. All right, Scott, hang on the line. Let's meet Lori from Fond du Lac. Hi, Lori from Fond du Lac.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you today?
Good. I'm fine, thank you.
Good. Are you at work?
Yes.
Okay.
I just shut the door and locked it.
Okay. Good. Hey, good call. All right, so I won't talk too loud. All right, so Lori and Scott, I've got 5 questions. I give you 3 possible answers. Only one is correct. Whoever has the most correct at the end wins a $30 Mine Shaft gift card for the beautiful location in Hartford. Scott, you're going to be first up. And the first question, Scott, has to do with a texter who asked me a really interesting question. And I've been asked this question before. And the question is this. What would I do if I won the lottery? What did I say? Was it A, Scott? Wagner always gets mad at me when I say this, but I would still work for a while because I'd want to talk about winning. B, definitely buy a house in Texas or Florida. That's the only place that people from Wisconsin move to now. Or C, I know what I wouldn't do. Tell anybody about it. So what's the right answer, Scott, A, B, or C?
I did hear you talk about this, and neither one of those 3 things were up. I knew you were thinking like a chef and a driver.
That's true. Take a guess.
Jeez. I'm going to go A.
All right. Scott says A. Lori, what do you say?
It's definitely A.
All right. Lori's a smart listener. You're both right. Here's what I said. Chris in Hartford, what would you do if you won the lottery? $1.7 billion. One, I'd have to buy a ticket, which I haven't for any of the most recent drawings. But if I did and I won, Wagner always gets mad at me when I say that. I would still work for a while because I'd want to talk about it. I would, and not in a weird way. That's me. So both of you, hot start, the proverbial hot start. Scott and Lori tied. Lori, you're first up. Question number 2. I spent a lot of time earlier this week talking about terrorism and the word terrorist and its application to the attack on Israel. Last weekend, that attack was a freaking topic on the show this week. What was my take on the use of the word terrorist? A, I think we have to be careful with the use of that word. I don't want to demonize people unnecessarily. B, it's become a trigger word, which is unfortunate because in some cases it's exactly the right word. Or C, what I'm against is terrorists of any sort. Their sole intent is in killing innocent people in the most horrific fashion possible. Lori, what's the right answer?
B.
Lori says B. Scott, what do you say?
I'm going C.
All right, Scott's going to have a smile on his face because here's what I said.
Oh.
I have nothing against the Palestinian people at all. What I am against is terrorists of any sort, whether it's Hamas, Hezbollah, ISIS, pick a name. They're all the same. Their sole intent is on killing innocent people in the most horrific fashion possible. All right, Scott off to a really hot start, up 2-1 over Lori, and takes us to question number 3. Scott is up first. I've talked a lot on this show and my previous show about hyper-partisan politics, have for a long time. What did I say about the impact of the political divide in this country? Listen carefully. 3 possible answers. Only one is correct. A, it's always been this way. We just have more ways to digest it, hear it, and read it now. B, hyper-partisanship in this country will kill us. It will absolutely kill us. People have to understand it's not just words. People act on the words of leaders. Or C, I wonder at the end of the day if people really believe the things their party tells them or they just play the lesser of 2 evils game. What's the right answer, Scott?
Well, they're all right answers, but I can definitely didn't hear this live, but I'm going to go with B, just listening enough to the show.
All right. Scott says B. Lori, what do you say?
I need to say B, too.
All right. Well, you need to be right because that's what I said. Here we go. Hyper-partisanship in this country will kill us. It will absolutely kill us because people have to understand it's not just words. People act on the words of leaders all the time. There's all kinds of stories we've talked about on this show and my other show. There are people who act on this stuff. No better example than January 6th. All right, so Scott has 3 correct. He's flirting with a perfect.
Good.
And it's only happened twice before, and both of those people are going to get lunch with me. I think I've done one, and one is
no.
That's always available. All right, so Lori, you're up first. This is kind of a fun one. I get this question a lot on Ask Steve Anything. Had to do with my relationship with Marianne Scaffidi from Heiser Automotive. I talk about Heiser all the time. I drive their cars. A texter asked if we were related. What did I say to that question? Listen carefully, Lori. A, yes, she's my sister-in-law. B, we are not related except for this. We're both Sicilian, hence the name Scaffidi, which is a very common name in Sicily. Or C, we've wondered about that since we share a common name, but as far as we know, no. Lori, what's the right answer?
I remember you saying something about your uncle with the Scaffidi.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just have to say C.
All right, Lori says C. Scott, what say you?
I think I'm staring at 4-0 here with B.
Oh, Scott is flirting with it. All right, Scott has got all for it. Lori, you can't win, but you're gonna get we'll get the 5th question out of the way here. Scott.
Okay, yeah.
Hang on there, though, Lori.
Yeah.
Scott is first up. Question.
You got to win all of them, okay, Scott?
Lori cheering for Scott.
Lori, thanks.
All right. That's a first. We have never had the other player cheering for the other player. So that shows something about your character, Lori, which I appreciate.
Oh, okay. Well, he gets to go to lunch with you.
I know. All right. So number 5, Scott for the clean sweep. Anybody who listens to the show knows that I have a love him and hate him relationship with pet owners. What did I say about the story of President Biden and his biting dog? A, it's not the president's fault. Maybe the Secret Service guys are teasing the dog, trying to get him mad. B, this is the problem in this country. The humans suck at having pets. For a president of the United States, this is not a good look. Or C, you know who I feel sorry for? Dogs. They have to look at their owner sometimes and say, you know what? You're just stupid. Scott, what's the right answer?
Boo, I missed this one, but it sounds like something you'd say would be B again.
All right, Scott says B. Lori, what do you say?
Yeah, I would go with B also.
All right, let's hear it so we know it's right. The dog trainers, they train the humans. This is the problem in this country. The humans, a lot of them suck at having a pet. They don't put the time in. They don't put the money in. They don't take care of their pets. They allow them to do things they shouldn't do. And for a president of the United States, and I hate to make this like story about the president not doing his job, that is not a good look for you. All right, Scott, you did something that only 2 other people have ever done. You went 5-0. That means, Scott, you are a big winner today. Lori, a very respectable 3 right. So thanks for playing. That's what Steve said.
Hey, can I come to lunch with him? I'll pay my meal.
That's up to Scott. If you guys can work that out, I'm more than happy to accommodate you. Lori.
Scott, yeah, you covered the tip, Lori. You're in.
All right, Scott. Okay. Both of you stay on the line. Okay. Scott, you're also going to win a $30 gift card to the Mind Chef restaurant, which is amazing. Every Thursday, 2-for-1 pizzas. That was a fun edition today. Thanks to Scott and Lori for playing. Stay on the line.
Thank you.
Producer Charlie will get all your information. All right, after the break, lots more to talk about. Stay in the conversation. 855-616-1620. The Old National Bank talk and text line. You're listening, of course, to WTMJ Now.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
This is Libby Collins. Join me this Sunday morning at 11 o'clock for WTMJ Conversations when we talk with former Congressman Scott Klug about why we're not hearing more about voters in the middle. It's all this Sunday on Conversations.
There's nothing wrong with making the best case for your position in the most fiery way possible, but at the end of the day, you have to agree and move forward.
WTMJ Conversations, Sunday mornings at 11 on WTMJ.
What's the way to build your wealth?
I want to talk about annuities and variable life insurance policies. And I'm going to come right out and say that I've never been a fan of either. In fact, in over 30 years, I have rarely recommended annuities to clients. And in that same time, I've never recommended a variable life insurance policy. Now, it's always a matter of opinion, and there are 2 sides to every story. I just want to make sure that you've heard both sides for both options. So if you're looking at those types of products, give us a call, because it's prudent to hear all sides. At the very least, we can give you the pros and cons and help you make a good decision. I'm Jim Cantrell with Financial Strategies, Inc., a fee-only, comprehensive financial planning firm, and I believe we can show you a wiser way to build your wealth. So go to financialstrategiesinc.com and schedule a no-cost consultation.
Financial strategies, a wiser way to build your wealth.
It's never too early to start making your list and checking it twice. Give the gift of a delicious Milwaukee food and city tours experience this holiday season. From a walking tour on Brady Street to our tacos and tequila bus tour or our beloved Christmas bakery bus tour, we have something for all tastes. Plus, we're offering a 15% discount on all gift card purchases through the end of the year. Send your clients, colleagues, or family this delicious gift at MilwaukeeFoodTours.com.
Thrifters can spot great deals from a mile away. And here the term great deal is an understatement. The lowest prices on men's, women's, and children's clothing, toys, furniture, housewares, jewelry, and accessories, bikes, books, games, and more. And every time you're here, you'll find something new. So if you're thrifty, you'll find this place is pretty nifty. St. Vincent de Paul Thrift Stores, Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, and 23rd and Lincoln in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
It's WTMJ Now.
All right, I do a lot of serious topics on this show, and I've certainly done that today. But I want to have fun for a little bit here. Not that the last thing wasn't fun, and thanks to Scott and Lori for being such great sports. And I would take her up on that. Now, Scott doesn't have to give up his lunch with me, but Lori, if you want, producer Charlie, get your information. If you come down here, we can do that. Happy to do it. And I always appreciate the listeners when they take their time out of their day to join this program. And it's a lot easier now than it used to be, right? It had to be in the Signal area. Now you can listen in Australia if you want. I have listeners in Germany and the UK. I do this thing with BBC Radio every once in a while. And they asked me about U.S. politics, which, of course, is fascinating to the rest of the world because just between you and me and the microphone, we look like idiots sometimes. So they're curious how that process works. And, I tell them because I have thoughts, especially as the host of a radio show. So this is a silly topic. And admittedly, I am not a huge fan of Halloween, however you say it. Not a huge fan. I appreciate it. I know that my grandkids love it, and I'm all about that. If it was just that. I'm not going to get into the whole decorations thing because I would argue now that Halloween has replaced Christmas for the most grandiose decorations, lights. That's a topic for another day. But I saw this piece by the Today Show. And you can find it at today.com if you want to follow along. And the question, I think, is something I need to know the answer to this question. Because I know I have an opinion on it. You probably have an opinion on it. It's not life-threatening. It's not breaking news. It's just, I'm curious. Because I noticed, and I'll get to some of the numbers here, the answer today to this question is much different than it used to be. So the question is this. How old is too old to trick or treat? That means, if you don't know, and you probably should, going around collecting candy from people who are standing in their doorway, or you ring their bell and they come out and they give you candy, or popcorn balls in the old days, apples in the old days, until people started putting razor blades in them, and that kind of stopped quickly. How the world has changed, eh? So the Today Show did a story about this, and I'm going to read one of the quotes. This kind of blows me away because I definitely have an opinion on it. Here's my opinion. Anybody with facial hair should not be trick-or-treating. Anybody who looks like an adult should not be trick-or-treating. Anybody who's out of high school should definitely not be trick-or-treating. Frankly, anybody over 16 probably shouldn't be trick-or-treating. My take. Here's what Cheryl Ziegler, a family therapist, said at today.com. There's no age when kids should stop trick-or-treating. But after graduating high school, many high school kids enjoy other ways to celebrate Halloween. And I'm reading this thinking, really? No age. Just showing up at people's houses asking for candy when you're driving a car. What, are you going to just drive neighborhood to neighborhood, house to house? So I started looking at the poll that they did. And my vote was, how old? I picked 16. And 19% of the survey, and I don't see, there's 12,000 votes. 19% agreed with me. Here's the startling thing about this survey. This is the dazzling detail that I can't wrap my head around, which is why I'm asking for your help, 855-616-1620. 46% of the 12,000 almost votes on this Today Show poll answered the question, how old is too old to trick or treat? Never. And I'm thinking to myself, are you serious? What, are we going to have like adults going door to door now? What are we giving them, like beers and shots? There's no way in the world adults should be trick-or-treating. So I don't get the never. Just to run through the ages, 9 to 10, 1%, 11 to 12, 3%, 13, 14, 14%, which is probably closer to where I'm at, 15 to 16, 19%, 17 to 18, 17%. And then this massive 46% of the sample. Now, there's rules about this. Chesapeake, Virginia, have decided that 14 is the cutoff. New Brunswick, Canada, against the law for anyone 16 and older. Now, full disclosure, some of these places have had these laws forever, like since the 70s. Never detained anyone nor charged anyone. So, I mean, take it for what it's worth. However, the local spokesperson says for the city of Chesapeake, it's on the books to allow police officers the method to detain an individual if they create a disturbance or similar action. That you don't need a Halloween rule for that. That's every day. Officers, they go on to say, officers do not spend Halloween night carding trick-or-treaters, nor are they actively seeking overage participants. All right, simple question. Not going to spend a ton of time on it. 855-616-1620. What's the number? I want you to tell me. Let me give me your reasoning. Why? Or do you agree with the 46% that there's never any age limit? We're going to now have college kids, young adults, seniors, trick-or-treating. 46% of 12,000 people said no limit to the age that's too old to trick-or-treat. I say that's crazy. But what do you say? Answer that question for me after this. 855-616-1620, WTMJ.
WTMJ's John Mercure here. Join me as we count down to the RNC in Milwaukee. We'll talk to the biggest names across the political landscape.
Senior political reporter from TMJ4 News, Charles Benson.
You got a sense of, how Milwaukee was enthusiastic about this convention.
Full podcast available on WTMJ.com or text RNC to the Old National Bank Talk and Text line, 855-616-1620, and get a link sent directly to you. It's the countdown to the RNC podcast, only here on WTMJ.
Wealth-changing question. Has your advisor created a portfolio based only on your age and risk tolerance? That's simply not good enough. Your money deserves better, and so do you. At Creative Planning, our private wealth managers learn about you first, and then they create a customized plan and portfolio by partnering with our in-house money managers, accountants, and attorneys. Don't settle for a standard portfolio. Book your free meeting today at creativeplanning.com. Creative Planning, a richer way to wealth.
The workplace has changed a lot thanks to technology, and more recently, the shift to a flexible or remote schedule. Your business must adapt to maintain a great culture, attracting quality candidates and keeping them. You need Smart Spaces. The team of interior integrators at Smart Spaces brings creativity and expertise, assessing the walls, ceiling, lighting, flooring, furniture, and audiovisual systems to create places that matter in the modern world, fully functional for those in the building and for others to interact remotely. Get started today at smartspaceswi.com.
Do the changing seasons have you dreaming of that perfect sun-kissed getaway? From the Caribbean and Mexico to Hawaii or Florida, Fox World Travel's expert travel advisors can recommend their favorite beach resorts with Delta Vacations or island-hopping cruises with Holland America and Celebrity Cruises. What are you waiting for? Don't miss out on the best savings of the season. Visit foxworldtravel.com or call 866-GO-FOX-GO. There are memories to be made, and Fox has the expertise to get you there.
When it's time for a new lawnmower,
Buying local is important. Purchasing one from Olson's Outdoor Power Equipment means you're well taken care of after the sale. Their knowledgeable staff handles the warranty and parts, can answer all of your questions, and is available to do tune-ups and repairs. Check out the impressive line of lawnmowers on display at the Olson's Outdoor Power Equipment showroom in Muskego. And tune in to the Fix-It Show this Saturday morning at 7, when an expert from Olson's will answer all your power equipment questions.
WTMJ Now.
All right, simple question. How old? Too old to trick or treat. This never thing, which almost half the respondents on the Today Show said was their standard. I'm like, that's crazy. I put it at like 15, 16. That seems reasonable to me. Let's hear what Connie from Portage has to say. She joins us on the phone. Hi, Connie.
Hi, Steve. How are you?
I am wonderful. Great to hear from you, as always.
Yeah. Say, by the way, you're doing a great job on your show. You know I'm a Democrat and you're a Republican, but I listen.
I love that. I appreciate that.
Yeah. But I wanted to tell you, I had 5 children, and 10 years old would be the limit. And if an adult or a high school child came to my door, I would laugh and say, go buy your own candy, and slam the door.
Whoa! That's some tough love, Connie. Does that happen a lot?
Oh, no. Heavens, no. It does not happen around Portage. That's just silly.
Why did you pick 10? Why did you pick 10 years old?
Well, because 11 and 12, my children were all working somewhere, doing something. I mean, that's just silly. That's for the littler ones, I think.
All right, I'm going to ask this question of everybody that calls, Connie. What do you like to give out on Halloween?
Oh, I give just any of the cheapest candy I can find.
I love the honesty. That's the honesty you get from Connie from Portage. Connie, you have a wonderful day.
You too, Steve. Bye-bye.
All right, that's Connie. I love the way she lights up the room. That's Connie from Portage. I got to tell you, I mean, I've done a lot of serious topics today. I often refer to the text line as spinning. I probably have almost 100 texts on this already. Let's just get a sample. When people say never, I think this is from the 414. I think they're referring to dressing up, not actually going out for candy. No, it asked about trick or treat. That, to me, specifically mentions candy, at least indicates candy. Candy trick or treating is for kids, maybe to 18 tops. But dressing up is forever. I'm not saying you can't dress up. That's a whole different conversation. 262, 13 is too old. But I give candy to all who come to my door. I don't need a toilet paper ring. Does that still happen? The toilet paper thing? I haven't seen that. That happened to me when my daughters were in high school. And as somebody who really cares about how their house looks, I was not a big fan of that. It's a mess. Don't do that. From the 414, as long as wearing a costume, any age. From the 414, I think depending on their maturity level or special needs, 16 to 18 sounds good to me. Jeff says from Illinois, I'm 62 years old and I still go trick-or-treating. I take my shot glass and go bar to bar. Jeff has tricked out trick-or-treating to mean a whole lot different than I was talking about, but you go, Jeff. Ingleside, Illinois. Let's see, I think as long as you're dressed up in some sort of costume behaving, the age limit should be 18. From the 414, 14 years or 8th grade, not high school. See, that's where I'm at. I'm in the not high school. For the 9-2 in Beaver Dam, I'm seeing more young parents aged up 30 with infants in strollers. That's a good thing. That encourages the sense of community. That is one of the things I like about Halloween and trick-or-treating. People get out to meet the people that live in their neighborhood when they might not otherwise do that. That's a positive. Mike says from Heartland, my wife buys a couple bags of candy every year, and we only get maybe 10 or 15 kids to come to the door because we have a short, steep driveway, and I guess they don't want to come up the driveway, so we get stuck with a lot of candy. I can tell you the answers are all over the board and no consensus. Let's see. Peter, I think trick-or-treating should stop before kids reach high school age, typically 14, but I did give candy out one year where some very creative high schoolers as a group flashed me. I was going to read the rest of it. Revealing superhero-like underwear under their trench coats. I was worried for a second, and then you delivered for us, so thanks for that, Peter. Granted, this is from Caroline. When I lived in Shorewood, we got lots of kids, and it was great for them to have a fun and safe Halloween. 262, I do not have a problem with older kids trick-or-treating as long as they are in costumes. And one more before we go to break here. As long as everybody's walking and nobody's driving, I'm okay with that. That's that 16 thing. Let's take a break. Rod's going to be up next. He's calling from Sheboygan. We'll get his call on his take on trick-or-treating. I say it's 16 or under. What say you? More after this on WTMJ.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
Here's a penny for your thoughts. There's about 11,000 tire-related crashes every year.
Mostly due to driving around on underinflated, beat-up, worn-out tires with low tread.
A couple of clicks at richlawns.com will get you scheduled for a free tire tread test.
But if you're pressed for time, there's an old trick we use in the tire industry that'll tell you if you need tires.
And that's free, too.
My dad showed me, who learned it from his dad, who learned it from someone else way back in 1964.
Ah, yes. The old penny test.
Yep, just place a penny head first.
As in upside down.
Into the groove of your tire. Now, if you can see the top of Lincoln's head, you're due for tires.
And hey, if the free penny test frazzles you, book an appointment at richlawns.com.
If your tires are good,
no harm, no foul, because it won't cost you a penny. Be safe, buckle up, and hang. Always make sure you've got good tread on your tires. I'm Brett Matchke with Rich Lawns. You're
due for service.
Such a refreshing change. Rich Lawns.
Russ bought his first home in Wisconsin with a mortgage from Accunet when today's college freshmen were still in diapers. A few Friday mornings ago, Russ emailed saying he and his wife were ready to buy their forever home. And by 4 o'clock, we were all on a conference call with their real estate agent talking about what it would take to write a winning offer in today's inventory-starved market. And then it happened. They met their dream home face-to-face Saturday afternoon and wrote an offer $15,000 over asking, accompanied by an Accunet property-specific pre-approval letter that guaranteed they could make good on that offer without selling their existing home first and without requiring an appraisal. That's right, no appraisal required, which both the listing agent and seller loved. I can't promise your very first offer will be accepted like Russ and Julie's, but I will promise Accunet can help you and your agent craft the most attractive offer possible. Hey, don't settle for a flimsy, unimaginative bank pre-approval. Get started with your rock-solid, guaranteed pre-approval by clicking on the blue button today at accunet.com.
It's WTMJ Now.
A few more minutes to answer the burning question, how old is too old to trick-or-treat? And I know it's a fun one. I said at the beginning. Sometimes you got to lighten it up a little bit. Rod from Sheboygan is first up. Hi, Rod.
Hey, Steve. How we doing?
I am wonderful on this Thursday. What do you think? Trick-or-treating.
Anything after high school. If they're in high school, I have no problem doing it because, honestly, I would much rather see teenagers out going trick-or-treating and getting candy than stealing cars and doing stupid crap like they're doing nowadays.
I get that. So I asked this question. What do you like to give out from your household on trick-or-treat, Halloween?
Unlike the caller from Portage, I don't go for the cheap stuff. I usually get the Reese's assortment because 99 times out of 100, we have some left over at the house after trick-or-treating, and I have a sweet tooth, so when I'm on my PlayStation, I have some extra candy.
I'll tell you this, Rod, since you're still on the line. My wife deliberately buys candy that I don't like for that very reason.
That's why I don't let my wife buy candy. I buy the candy.
There you go. Thanks for the call, Rod. Appreciate talking to you. Shannon from Waukesha. Hi, Shannon.
Yes, hello. I wanted to follow up, too, on Connie regarding the comment.
Yes.
Something similar happened at my house several years ago. My mother-in-law was actually over and answering the door, and when she opened the door, there were some, very tall kids, and right out of her mouth, "What are you doing here? Don't you think you're just a little bit too old to be trick-or-treating?" Well, you see, they turned out to be from Carroll University, and they take the opportunity of Halloween to go door to door, and with their bags, they're collecting foodstuffs.
Oh, there you go.
Food pantry.
So you got to be
You
careful.
know what? So you can't shut down those tall kids right away. Just wait, at least hear them out. If you hear a trick or treat, okay, then maybe you can engage in conversation.
Love
if
it.
that's how you feel.
All right, Shannon, what do you like to give out on Halloween? Trick or treat.
Our favorite are those caramel apple lollipops. I don't know if you've ever
Oh,
seen
yes.
those. They're really good.
That's
like
one of
green
my
apples with caramel
favorites.
on 'em.
Oh, I love those.
Yes, us too.
All right, Shannon, thanks for the call. Let's see. We got Ron from Waukesha. Hi, Ron.
Hi.
So, am I reading this right? You give out hot dogs?
Hot dogs and hot cider.
So, when did that start?
My dad started it when I was a kid.
Interesting.
My name is Joe. Yeah.
Okay.
And he'd have in the garage, and he'd have the hot dogs going and the cider going, and the adults got a cocktail if they wanted one.
See, that's my kind of trick or treating. So, how long you been doing this?
we were married.
Well,
it's been 52 years.
We've been doing it for like 52 years. Yes.
All right. So, anybody give you like a weird look when you drop a hot dog on them?
No, they like it.
No, they come back year after year.
All right. So I got to ask because I'm a big fan of hot dogs. How are you cooking these hot dogs? Are you like boiling them up in a big Nesco, or how are you making these things?
Yeah.
Yes, that's what we're doing.
See, that's
in the Nesco.
That's old school Wisconsin. I love it. You guys drive safe. Thanks to Ron and Joe calling in from the old Nesco. You know what I'm talking about? Producer Sam's nodding it. Yeah, it's this big white thing. You throw the water in. You throw the hot dogs in. You let them steam and cook. Oh my God, they're delicious. Now, buy good hot dogs. That's my one sole recommendation. I would go to their house for cider and hot dogs. A couple quick texts before we wrap up here. Let's see. When Steve was on his listener trip, Sandy always mentioned he was on his trip. I have not heard Steve mention where Sandy is at all. Why is that a question? I shouldn't have read that without reading it first. Sandy's in Stevens Point. She was on my trip. Yeah, she's not in the studio that I'm currently sitting in, but it's an interesting question. Thanks for asking it. Steve, with older kids, you always get the teenage girls dressed like tramps. Yeah, well, I mean, styles change, right? I would imagine like Taylor Swift costumes would be a big thing this year. No? I would imagine. I was watching a piece on the Monitor during the break, and one of the interviewees said she traveled around the country watching or going to Taylor Swift concerts, so that's got to be expensive. Let's see. From the 414, we give out full-size candy bars and packaged dill pickles. My daughter, Katie, would love you. She's a big fan of the dill pickle. She would love that. Absolutely love it. Lori says, sounds like the hot dog people have a Halloween tailgate. Yeah. I'm in on that. That's unique. You give me a unique trick or treat, I'll even waive the age requirements, which it sounds like what they're doing. Let's see. A couple quick ones more. Let's see. 15, 16. Costumes required is the last one. So thanks for having some fun. I want to have a little bit of a lighter topic. After the break, what are you going to do this weekend? Well, even though she's not here, Sandy prepared a What's on Tap. We'll get to that after the break on WTMJ.
More of WTMJ now after this.
We all have someone we know or love that has been affected by some form of cancer.
No matter how well you love and support them and try to be there for them, you can never really know what a person is feeling after hearing the words, "You have breast cancer."
Only another person that has been through this experience can really understand what it feels like.
ABCD, After Breast Cancer Diagnosis, is a Milwaukee-based organization known around the world.
When someone calls ABCD, they are matched with a mentor who is a breast cancer survivor of similar age and has the same type of breast cancer who can provide hope when people need it the most.
Kessler's is excited to announce that we've designed 3 new Hope pendants to honor breast cancer patients, survivors, thrivers, and caregivers.
100% of the net proceeds, along with an additional donation from Kessler's, will support ABCD when you purchase the symbol of hope.
You can find a link with more information about ABCD, along with all 3 modern designs starting at just $75 in sterling silver and $598 in gold, online at KesslersDiamonds.com.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi for Heiser Automotive. I love talking about Heiser. I was a customer before as a spokesperson. Right now, driving a pre-owned. Yes, pre-owned. I want to see what that experience was like. A 2021 Lincoln Corsair. All-wheel drive. We all know the weather's changing. Just look at the weather forecast. That's Wisconsin, and the Lincoln Corsair is built for that changing weather. Here's what else comes along. Great gas mileage, 28 highway. Lincoln certifies these pre-owned vehicles. 6-year, 100,000-mile comprehensive warranty coverage, 200 points of inspection. Yes, 200 by their factory-trained technicians. Full vehicle history report, 24-hour roadside assistance. And oh, by the way, they throw in a full tank of fuel, fresh oil, and new wiper blades. See what I'm talking about? What else are they doing? Never, ever any hidden market adjustment fees, and they also always price under MSRP. That's why they say every day, today's your day.
After a serious accident, you'll need a winning team to protect your rights. Trust Wisconsin's own Gruber Law Offices, proud partner of your Milwaukee Bucks. If you've been injured, call Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
What's the way to build your wealth?
While going over a new client's statements from one of the big financial firms, I was floored when I read that firm does not offer tax or estate planning advice. Because we know that saving money for our clients on their taxes, legally and well within the law, can make a huge difference in their financial plan. If you want to wisely build your wealth, it is my firm opinion that without a comprehensive approach, you're going to be at a big disadvantage. At Financial Strategies, Inc., we're taking a deep dive and creating comprehensive strategies that develop your retirement, investment, and your tax and estate planning. And all under a fee-only structure that means the success we care about most is yours. I'm Jim Cantrell, and I believe we can show you a wiser way to build your wealth. So go to FinancialStrategiesInc.com and schedule a no-cost consultation.
Financial strategies, a wiser way to build your wealth.
The weekend is coming up, and there's so much to do. So let's talk about it. It's time for What's on Tap on WTMJ Now.
I'm Sandy Max with ways to make the most of your weekend with events you may not have heard about yet. From Egypt to Ozaukee County, you're going to find fun experiences, including phantoms and zombies this weekend, starting with Beyond King Tut, the immersive experience. Envelop yourself in ancient Egypt. At the opening weekend, it's an exhibition at the Baird Center called Beyond King Tut, the immersive experience. Larger-than-life, state-of-the-art cinematic projections create stunning visual environments for you to explore archaeological treasures in a truly unique way. You'll see modern-day Egypt, but you'll also be transported back 3,000 years ago to the 18th dynasty when King Tut ruled. You will see the pyramids of Giza, the Great Sphinx, and even take a tour of the tomb to see what remains of King Tut's pursuit of immortality. From King Tut to taking a road trip, you are invited to celebrate the 41st year of this weekend Fall Arts Tour called the Covered Bridge Art Studio Tour. 53 of southeastern Wisconsin's finest artists in Ozaukee and Washington counties open their studio and workspace doors for you to explore where their creativity happens. Plan out your own itinerary with an interactive map to find the featured artists in the communities of Mequon, Thiensville, Cedarburg, Grafton, Saukville, Port Washington, and Newburgh. You can get in the haunting spirit with an enchanting evening stroll through the magical Halloween pumpkin wonderland full of 3,000 hand-carved jack-o'-lanterns at the Hollows at Phantom Lake YMCA Camp in Mukwonago. Through the wooded trails, you will travel through magical fairylands. You'll meet witches and wizards. You may even meet a mermaid near the Viking ships. It's a family-friendly event, and you'll be doing a good deed while you enjoy the Halloween decorations because all proceeds from the event provide financial support for the Phantom Lake YMCA Camp Inclusion Program, enabling kids and families who might otherwise not be able to experience camp. Halloween is also the time of the season to see the Zombies in concert, right? Rock and Roll Hall of Famers, the Zombies, will perform at the South Milwaukee Performing Arts Center Saturday night. Expect a solid set list of psychedelic 60s songs, including their hits, Time of the Season, and She's Not There. For full information on all these events, go to WTMJ.com, and the What's on Tap page is there with the listings and links to help you plan and maximize your weekend.
It's the time of the season for love.
Hey, Wisconsin, winter is right around the corner. Get your house ready before the cold hits. WTMJ's Jeff Wagner here for Wagner's Home Improvement Showcase, brought to you by senior real estate specialists Bruce and Jean Nemovitz, Hair Construction, Current Electric, Outdoor Living Unlimited, and Kohler Services. Join us every week to discuss ways to weatherproof your home here on News Radio 620 WTMJ. If you can't catch us live, visit Wagner's Home Improvement Showcase under Features on WTMJ.com.
Hi, it's John Reitz from Great Midwest Bank, and as a community bank, we sincerely appreciate our customer loyalty. Over nearly